Hello.
Hey.
Greetings.
I'm here.
You made it.
I made it. I had to put down the PlayStation 5.
You lucky stinker.
I was very lucky. It's because right when they started doing the pre-orders, I had luckily gone on Facebook and seen someone's message saying that they had just gotten the pre-order, so I jumped on there and barely got one.
What are you playing?
I'm playing actually one of the PlayStation Now games from last month, Concrete Genie, which is a really good game.
Fun.
Yeah. I can't get playing.
I'm quite like, you stopped playing PS5 to come hang with us. Thank
you. I'm cool like that.
You're so nice.
I just got to get away from
like
video
this,
games.
but it's so nice.
I do what I can.
Oh, thank you so much for joining us, by the way.
Oh, you're welcome. Love the background.
I know. If I do this, it looks like I'm kissing him. You ready?
That's gonna get you killed, though. You know that, right?
Yeah.
I know. It's dangerous.
It's okay. I'm only 5'1". I wouldn't be able to reach.
Yeah, I'm 6'2", so yeah.
Yeah, I'm not.
Jump.
She likes to live on the edge anyway, so.
Oh yeah, I can tell.
Yeah.
That's okay. I'll forgive her.
She travels with a little step ladder just in case she needs it.
I break my step ladders. I'm terrible. Oh, no.
That's too funny.
Oh no, I've got tears already. That's not.
Oh no.
But yeah,
you fine.
I know. I was so excited. I know. Bless you. I was like, I'm so excited. And you were like, you'll be fine. I'm like, oh, you've not met me yet, have you?
I felt so stupid that I forgot to put this on my calendar. So when I saw the announcement, I was like, oh God, did I forget about this? Oh no.
I was like, oh no.
Yes, we panicked. We're like, no.
I think I was in the middle of filming when I got the original message. And so I was like, oh, okay, cool. And I just brain farted and didn't put it on my calendar.
No, I bet
we've all been there. We've all been there.
You hit your 40s and everything just starts going up here. It's just like, whoopsie.
I've got no excuse then because I'm 39 and I'm just like.
Oh, just wait then. It's all of a sudden the milk expires.
Oh no. Well, you just shot that out the water. Oh, no.
Yeah.
We're all toast now. That's it.
Yeah. Well, we're not even 5 minutes in and we already have the quote of the day. The milk expires. I love it.
Thank you for coming. Oh my God. Cool. But yeah, no, I'm not gonna lie. I was really excited when you said you were like, yeah, I'm gonna do it. I was like, oh, I've only just because that one managed to escape me. It was only like I think about a week before.
Mm-hmm.
Before I messaged you about an interview, and I was like, don't want to watch this. I was like, okay, I'm gonna watch it. And I sat there and I went, oh, that was kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie. Like, oh, it's creepy. I just want to. Oh. So I was like, should I message him? I went, I think he's a bit too high caliber for us.
No, not at all.
We were all cheering, message.
And then you went, yeah, sure. And I went, they all got a message from me going, oh my God. Totally blew my mind. It was in pieces.
I'm just a normal everyday guy like everybody else. I eat and poop like everybody else. So
yeah.
Oh, you're my favorite person now.
He's going to fit in so well with this group. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yay. Definitely. But we've got some questions for you. Oh, we got some questions for you.
Oh, okay. What kind of questions we got there?
Well, before we do get started,
okay.
Just so everyone who's joined us, we are going to be going ahead and keep everybody muted. If you do have any questions, throw them into the chat. We'll go ahead and get them mixed in as we can. So feel free to ask them. For those who don't know, we'll have David introduce himself in just a moment. But for one of the big things we'll be talking about is one of his movies, Terrifier. Mm-hmm. So those of you who have or have not seen it, there will be spoilers. Consider yourselves warned right now. So
people just die.
There is that, yes. But yeah, but the movie's been out for a little while, so spoiler alert right now.
Dumbledore dies.
The hell you say?
I know.
But with that, David, if you'd be so good as to introduce yourself, sir.
Hi, everybody. I'm David Howard Thornton. You probably know me as Art the Clown from the horror film Terrifier and the upcoming Terrifier 2.
So excited.
Yay!
Do we know if this one's coming out in cinema?
I don't know yet. If it did, oh boy, that would probably be the only NC-17 rated movie that's released in like the theaters. So who knows?
I just thought I'd ask that. I was like, because I'd definitely go see it in the cinema. I think it would be. I mean, I enjoyed it watching it on my sofa, but there's nothing better than watching it like. Oh crap!
Oh yeah, oh yeah. It's if we do it in I said doo-doo. If we do it in theaters.
You can say doo-doo.
I know it's just funny. I'm like 5 years old sometimes, man. Like, but if we do put it in theaters, it would probably be like road shows, kind of like what Kevin Smith did with the latest Jay and Silent Bob movie, because this is going to have a very hard rated R rating, if it even gets a rated R rating, because we didn't hold back.
Oh, cool. A lot more gore then.
Yeah, I think we would probably get an NC-17 rating just for the first scene alone.
Do you think you've topped Don's death?
I think so. In just like violence, in gore, in meanness.
I'm going to have to up my safety blanket ritual then for watching Terrifier.
Yeah, I'll just say that Damien, when he was editing this scene, which the scene took us about a week to film because there's so many practical elements involved in it, and he messaged me while editing it, and he's just like, dude, I'm getting nauseous.
Wow, I can't wait.
I'm like, dude, you wrote it and made all the stuff for us. How are you the one getting nauseous? It's like, it's just what we did.
Okay.
So, yeah. So I'm probably going to get a lot of people hating me when this is over. They're probably going to think I'm just such a creep. I'm like, no, that's just the character. He's the bad guy.
Yes, exactly. It's like, come on, man. You watched it on a screen. It's not real. Calm down.
Exactly. I don't really do this kind of stuff to people in real life.
Yeah, that's what I said to you. I was like, yeah. Yeah, you put that costume on, and I'm just like, yeah, you can get gone. I don't want to talk to you.
It's funny how that affects people. I've seen like grown men, like mountain type men, like just early guys, like security guys at conventions. So like I one time had a guy that was supposed to be my security guy, and he was terrified of me when I was in costume going down for my photo ops and stuff like that. It was the funniest thing. We're in an elevator together, and he is like backed up into the corner of the elevator. I'm like, dude, we've been talking all weekend.
I did see an interview. There was a guy, and you were completely silent. It was completely so art, and you're just like messing around behind him, and he's like,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I like this guy so much. It's so fun.
Yeah. That was at the same convention actually too.
Was it?
Funnier, yeah.
Oh,
It's great when I see like grown men cringing like that. But then I have like 4-year-old girls that will come up to me and give me a hug.
Oh, that's adorable.
It's the funniest thing. So you see these grown men scared me, and little girls like, hey!
I don't know how I'd feel. I'd be kind of like, don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's just because I don't speak when I'm in the costume. I try to keep the whole illusion going for people, because I want to, if I'm gonna be doing that, I want to give them the full Art the Clown experience without the death. But
But if they crap their pants, it's all good.
Oh yeah, I feel like I've accomplished something.
Needs a round of applause straight off the bat.
Oh yeah.
Achievement unlocked on that one, yeah.
Yes.
You achieved brown level.
Yes. I think I've made a few people pee their pants though, but that's close enough.
I love it. I think it's great.
You're only cool if you pee in your pants.
You know that you're doing your job right, isn't it? It's like,
yeah, exactly. I was like, I succeeded.
just do a little art walk around it, like, no, I'm not.
Yeah, it's like you clean that up. Someone get a bucket.
You go in your little trike.
Yep.
But
I'll shut up. I've got to shut up, or we're never going to get through anything.
That's true. Yeah, we got questions to answer.
Yeah, and now for our first question.
I don't know myself. I was excited. Leave me be. Right, no. How has the COVID-19 pandemic affected you personally and professionally?
Well, personally, I've had a few friends and family members get it, and I've had a few friends actually pass away from it. So that's what's really sucked. Thankfully, knock on wood, I haven't gotten it yet, but I've tried to be as careful because I live here in New York City, which was like the epicenter. So like the beginning of it, that was really scary because, no one knew what was going on at first. So it was just terrifying just going to go get groceries. I felt like I was in some survival horror game doing that. But now it's especially with the vaccine rolling out, it's a lot better. Professionally though, it killed me last year. It's like a big, huge financial hit because I do a lot of conventions and all those were canceled or postponed. Then we had to stop filming Terrifier for a little while there. We were almost done filming it, but in a weird way it kind of helped the film too, because we had 2 last big kill scenes to film, and Damien took that time to really flesh those scenes out further than what we originally intended to do, because he had more time to build prosthetics and he had more time to actually just sit back and think, okay, well, what can we do to actually just make this even bigger and better? And we did that, and I think that was actually to a benefit in some ways, because we didn't really have to rush things, because we're like, okay, yeah, with this virus we can actually take our time and really make this the film that the fans deserve.
Yeah, a lot of people have said that, like, because obviously with production being shut down, like for example, like Walking Dead, they've managed to like add extra, like it's part C, isn't it, of season 10? Yeah, 10, season 10. So at least they're like sort of fleshing out some of the storylines. So swings professionally like that, it swings and roundabouts. It's like sucks, but in some ways you're getting other stuff that you probably wouldn't have got otherwise. So it's like
correct.
Just it just sucks though, doesn't it? It's like a learning curve for everyone though.
Oh yeah, because we wanted to release this thing last October originally, because it's takes place on Halloween. That would have been a perfect time to release it, but that's how it goes.
Yeah, because it's got an October release date this year, doesn't it?
That's what we're hoping for. Yeah, it's because I think they just basically wrapped this past week, because they had a few extra pickups here or there to film with some actors and scenes that I wasn't really involved in. And right now Damien's busy editing everything. So I think once he's finished with that he should probably be done with that by the end of April, I'm hoping. But after that, we got to start shopping it to distribution and see if we can get someone to pick us up. That's always the fun thing, is saying, okay, now we have this, now who's going to put this out there for the world to see? And I think we'll have an easier time this time than we did originally, because now we actually have a name for ourselves. So I think whoever would pass on us doesn't want to make money. So,
so yeah, because that's all you see is like if you put in like hashtag Terrifier or hashtag Art the Clown, especially on Instagram, there's a shed ton of posts. You know what I mean? It's really took off, isn't it? It's the
nuts.
Character.
Yeah, I think Damien really captured lightning in a bottle with this character. It's just like he put this out at the right time when we needed something fresh and new in this genre, and I think we're giving, especially the indie world, a nice kick in the butt, because I think we're I hope we're inspiring other horror films, especially indie films, to start making their own and doing the kind of stuff we're doing, taking bigger risks, because it's just been so many remakes and everything's trying to be PG-13 instead of rated R, and that's not what the true fans want to see. The fans go in there for the kill scenes. They want to see all that crazy over the top gore and all that. That's why you go to these slashers. That's the whole point of it. We don't want it toned down. It's like the horror genre is always supposed to take risks. We're always supposed to be pushing the envelope, and that's what we keep on intending to do.
You've got loads of comments already. It's like one of the best horrors I've seen. Yep.
Thank you.
That's Jim.
Thank you, Jim. I don't have my glasses on, so I'm like kind of like, what does that say?
That's probably a good thing, because then it's like, I've missed a question or something and you don't know.
Yeah.
Could come in handy. Can you no, I'm reading the wrong question.
Don't.
What is your favorite film or favorite film genre to watch when you want to relax?
Oh my God, my favorite film of all time, I would say, is Who Framed Roger Rabbit. That is a movie I can watch over and over again and still find something new every single time I watch it. I've watched it well over 30 times now, I think, in my life, and I love it. It has everything I want in a movie. To me, it's a perfect film. It's got such a great blend of genres, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's a perfect film. And it's the film that also got me interested in doing movies when I was a kid. That's when I first learned about Mel Blanc doing all the voices for Looney Tunes. Then they had a behind the scenes documentary on TV on how they made it. So that's the first time I ever saw how movies were made. And I was like, wow, this seems like such a cool thing to do. And that's what really started getting me interested in movies.
No, because you do voices. Have you ever tried Roger Rabbit?
Roger? Oh, yeah. Hey, Daddy. That's like one of the first voices I learned how to do, because I saw Charles Fleischer, who was the voice of Roger, because everybody would just go with their lips, and I noticed that when he did it with his cheeks. So I taught myself as a kid to just go like that.
And Bob Hoskins is such an class actor, especially doing that with, he wasn't even there, you know what I mean? So
I didn't even know he was British.
Yeah, I love Bob Hoskins.
It wasn't until he did Hook that I found out that he was actually British, and I was like, what? Because he's just so believable as Eddie Valiant. It's like, wow, he is so good.
Do you know what? I need to go and watch that again now. You said it.
It's classic. It's a classic.
It is, yeah. Just June scared the crap out of me as a kid.
Oh my gosh, Christopher Lloyd. Oh. I'm looking for a murderer. It's just like.
You know, the one that always gets me is when he puts that shoe in the dip.
Oh,
I'm like,
God.
Oh, no.
That is like Bambi's mom type of moment for a film. It's just like, oh my, because it's just a shoe. But you feel this is a character you just first introduced to, and then he gets killed, and you still feel sorry for him. It's just like, oh my God.
It's the big eyes and the whimper. Yeah. And they're like, oh, you're like, no.
It's horrible. It's horrible.
I've never been so upset over a shoe in my life.
Oh, I know. Well, you know, since I mentioned Bambi's mom, do you know who Judge Doom was actually supposed to be? What tune? Because they never revealed it in the movie.
Oh, no. Is he the one that shot Bambi's mom?
Yeah, that's who he's supposed to be. Is the hunter that shot Bambi's mom.
Oh, that bastard.
Because they said, who's the most evil tune ever created? And it'd be the hunter that shot Bambi's mom.
That dick.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate him even more now.
Oh, I don't. I know. I always wondered what he actually looked like outside of the Doom disguise, because, you know, that human suit he was wearing. So I'm like, what did he actually look like? Because you only see his eyes.
Yeah.
And his teeth. So
yeah.
Like,
yeah. Oh, thank you for that little bit of information. I didn't know
you're
that.
welcome. Fun trivia.
Awesome.
Yeah, we love a good bit of trivia, don't we, guys?
Yeah.
Can you tell us about any upcoming projects you've got going this year?
Yes, in addition to Terrifier 2, of course, there's this one film we filmed exclusively over Zoom during the pandemic called The Dark Offerings, which is in the process of being edited right now. I'm just a small part of it. They just added a part for me later on because they're some of the people that worked on Terrifier, and they're like, why don't we have Dave in this? So they're like, okay, we'll just write a little part. So I'm in it at the beginning of the film, and it's a lot of fun, but it was very different filming over Zoom like this, because none of us were in the room with the other actors. So it's a different sensation having to act with people over a computer than actually being together in a room. So that was a very interesting experience, but we accomplished something I think pretty cool. So I can't wait for people to see that. But also, this is why my hair is so long right now, is I've been in the middle of filming another horror film with a lot of the Terrifier team as well. Our Fuzz on the Lens guys, who also did Abnormal Attraction. They are making what they hope is going to be another horror franchise called Stream. And I play one of the killers in that. And they've got a lot of big names from the horror world involved in this film too. So it's been really cool being on set with all these people I grew up watching in movies my whole entire life. And it's a great learning experience for me as an actor. I'm like, oh my God, I get to see some just icons work them, because that's how I learn. I'm like, this is amazing. And it's a fun idea. I wish I could say more, but a lot of that is under wraps right now.
Sure.
Dang it.
We'll see if we can come out of them.
But it's going to have some cool kill scenes in it, because Damien is doing the prosthetics and all that, and all the special effects for the film. So it's going to have those kind of kills in it. So
awesome. I watched that one too.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. So I got chills when I watched you perform the Joker monologue.
Oh, thank you.
Fantastic. It was amazing. Like I was watching it like bloody hell, you did that like by yourself. We've got a few of them, but that was amazing. Honestly, I was like, anyway.
He's my favorite character of all time, so I'm just like, yeah.
Cool.
I had to do it. When I read that in the comics, I was like, I have to learn this as a monologue. This is such a great monologue.
It is a good monologue. I've read it was ages ago now, but I've read The Killing Joke anyway, so it's like seeing someone actually bring that to life is like, oh, so it's really good. And the voice, nailed it.
Thank you.
Well, how I think it would sound anyway, but that's just me. But anyway, I'm like proper like brown nosing today. But anyway, it's all good. Out of everyone who's portrayed the Joker, who was your favorite?
Oh, that's easy. It's Mark Hamill. He's the best by far. I think Mark fully understands the character. He understands the psychosis, and he doesn't make him completely insane. He adds so many layers to him, and that's what I like about him. It's like he can be serious one second, then absolutely just batshit crazy the next second, then just scary the next second. He's a master at doing it, and it's fun seeing how he has developed that character over decades. From like if you go back and watch the first episode of when the Joker appears in Batman animated series, it's almost a normal sounding voice compared to where he is in the Arkham games.
Yeah.
So it's really cool seeing that evolution of the character that he did.
Yeah, I agree. It is amazing. Like my kids, I've got boys and they love it. They're obsessed, and they used to watch they played the games, they've watched the series, I think they've watched all of them. I think they've just covered the whole thing. So if you had to pick someone to play the Joker, who would you pick?
Me. Myself, but if not myself, I would say Willem Dafoe. I think he would be a fantastic Joker, especially if they did like a Batman Beyond type of thing with an older Bruce Wayne, like bring back Michael Keaton as old Bruce Wayne.
I like where
something
your
like
head's
that.
at.
Yeah.
I like where your head's at.
Yeah. Because Willem Dafoe, I'm like, how have they never cast him as an older Joker? I mean, he naturally looks that way anyway. You wouldn't have to really do anything makeup wise with him. It would he's boom. Fantastic. He'd be really good. And also I think Crispin Glover would make a really good Joker as well.
Yeah. Yes, he would.
I'm presuming you've heard that Michael Keaton is tied to the Flash movie, right?
I have heard that, yes.
I hear that he is. Rumor has it he's an older Bruce Wayne. I don't know if that's true or not, but
we'll see.
If that's the case, why not pull in an older Joker? We'll see. I mean, who knows?
I know. I can only imagine what Willem Dafoe could do with it. I'm just like, oh my God, he would be great.
He's a creepy dude anyway, so I think.
Rich Davis just also suggested Michael Fassbender.
Oh, he'd be.
Yeah.
I could see that. Yes. Yeah.
Rich has also put the guy who split a woman in half is upset over a shoe.
Yeah.
I've got to put that in there. What was it like doing like the Joker on stage by yourself? Was that?
Oh, so much. That was just for a monologue competition, and I was like, why not do this? And I had so much fun, and it's so funny that you hear in the background there's a police siren going off, and it was so perfectly timed. I was like, it almost made me break character because I was like, oh, that is so cool. I was like, oh no, gotta stay in character, David.
It was wicked. I was like,
oh, it was really interesting because the audience didn't know what it was, so like I started out with my back to the audience and my head down, and I don't know if you really hear it on the video, but like there was a gasp in the audience when I turned around. It was really cool because it was like dead silent throughout the whole entire thing, and then just they went crazy when I finished, and I was like, oh, okay, because at first I'm like, are they just not buying this, or like, oh God,
that's the best reaction though, is when they just are that dumbstruck, and then you got the eruption at the end. It's a phenomenal feeling.
Yeah, that's why I want to bring him to life, you know, in a bigger way. I would really love to bring him to screen. I've done him on a web series, a fan made web series, but I'd really love to bring it to like my preference would really actually be a TV series instead of a film, because that way I could have more time with the character. I could really stretch it out exactly over several seasons instead of just a 2-hour film. Because there's so much to explore with that character. So many great story arcs that you can do with him. My dream is to bring the death of the family story arc that came out a few years ago, with Joe Joe the plumber type of Joker. You know, where he you know, takes off his face and reattaches it and all. Because that one really gets deep into the relationship between Bruce Wayne and Joker, like how they, you know, complement each other and how they need each other, and that the whole relationship between the Bat family and the Joker and Batman as well, how Joker thinks they all weaken him, that they've made him less of a Batman than what he's supposed to be, and that's why he wants to get rid of them, because they know he wants Batman to be Batman. He's like, I need you, you need me, we complete each other.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's so good. I actually think when you said about doing it as like a TV show, I was like, well, you were on Gotham.
Yeah.
Weren't you? Yeah.
I was in one episode. I created Solomon Grundy. I dumped his body into Slaughter Swamp, and I think originally they wanted to bring us back for him to get revenge on, and they ended up just killing the character off later on that season. So I was like, man.
So you got to work with Drew?
Yeah.
Oh, I got to meet Drew at Wizard World Chicago 2019. He was the reason I went to Wizard World. Of everybody there, he was the one I wanted to meet.
Drew's fantastic. Such a nice guy. Such a nice guy. I had no idea what to expect when I met him, because, you know, he plays so many just tough characters, and he's just a big teddy bear in real life. He's got a great singing voice too.
I want to do like a VIP package with him the next time I'm in Chicago. Mm-hmm. The next time he's in Chicago, I want to do some kind of a VIP package with him, take him out for a night of beers and steak, and just like spend a night just getting to know him, just chatting.
Oh, it would be so much fun. It's like, I loved, because, you know, he's a dad too, and so he was telling us, like, when he got cast, when he found out that he was going to be actually Solomon Grundy, that DC sent him a big, huge box of comic books and toys and everything, just so he could really research the character more. And his son sees all that, and he thought it was for him. He's like, no, these are daddy's toys. You don't touch them. This is for me.
Nice. Yeah.
We have that same rule in this house. These are our toys in our comics. Those aren't for the kids.
Exactly. I love that. It's just, and I think that's why he was so great with the character and stuff, because, you know, he's a huge geek himself. So this is something he loves. He's passionate about as well. And it's like, when you get those type of people involved in those type of projects that are actually passionate about the characters, that's when they really bring those characters to life, I think, and give them justice.
Completely agree. Absolutely. Yep. Sorry to derail that there, Scottie. I apologize.
No, that's fine.
No, I was like, ooh. So no, that's cool.
Yeah, I haven't seen Drew in ages. I don't even know if he'd remember me, but I you know, who knows?
I'm sure he would.
I was going to say, I think he would. So like clowns, obviously they're like a fear for somebody. Do you have any phobias or fears?
I don't like dark spaces, like a closet being open, or like when I go to sleep at night, I have to have all the doors closed. I can't be looking out into a dark void. It just creeps me out, because I just feel like there's something looking at me through it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You gotta.
I don't like it. It's so silly. Like, even going down into a basement, I'm just like, I get like the Scooby-Doo feeling. So I'm just like, you know, I can't go down there. I'm like, no. Someone's got to come with me.
Yeah.
It's so stupid, because I'm like, something's got to jump out of me. I'm gonna see a ghost or a monster. So I'm like, dude, man, you're 41. Grow up.
Yeah, I know. To be honest, I've got that because I've got little kids, and they have a tendency, when you're asleep, they're right here, and you wake up and you're like,
oh god. It's like, hi.
Yeah, you gotta shut the door. They're you're gonna die. It's like,
yeah.
And you do realize now, David, if any of your friends have seen this, they're now going to put the cardboard like William Shatner in your bathroom, so when you turn on the light, he's like right there now to scare the crap out of you.
Yeah.
You know they're going to do this to you now.
Oh, my roommate does that kind of stuff to me all the time. He just got me the other day. I was coming out of the bathroom and he was wearing this warthog onesie that he bought. It's just, and I didn't even have this. And he just comes charging at me, and I just started laughing once I realized what was going on. But it's like that initial, like, oh God. He does it to me all the time. It keeps me young.
There you go.
You just need to learn to aim properly and get him right in the.
Oh yeah. Oh, well, so see, he's a big guy. He's so I that's why I don't scare him back, because I'm afraid he's going to do something. I'm afraid I might go flying through a wall or something. Because I love to scare people too, so it's hard for me not to do it back to him, because I've done it to so many of my other roommates in the past. My best one was when my old roommate and best friend Noah, he has a huge fear of zombies, and he went out with his girlfriend one night, and I told him I was going out with the girl I was seeing that night, and I didn't. I stayed home and put zombie makeup on, and I didn't know what time he was going to be back, and so I hid in our bathtub. And I camped out. I had like my Kindle in there. I had food and pillows and everything, because I didn't know what. So I was like, I might as well be comfortable until he gets back. And he comes back and goes to the bathroom. Thank God he only went number one. But like while he's over there washing his hands, I pull back the curtain. I'm just like, come out. And just, I have never heard the guy scream so much in my life. It was the funniest thing.
Oh, that's amazing.
Oh my God. I think I basically almost peed in my pants. I was laughing so hard.
That is epic.
Oh, it was totally worth all those hours I sat in there waiting. It was totally worth it.
That's commitment. That's a commitment to a prank.
Oh yeah, I commit to my pranks. I did one time in college where I hid under my roommate's desk for 2 hours while he was studying, and he didn't know I was there. And then I grabbed his leg and started like acting like a dog, trying to like doing that. Just scared.
You've got to commit to your pranks. I'm the prankster of my house, and I'm a shit. I've nearly killed my kids. Literally nearly killed my kids. One of my daughters, I was hiding in the bathroom. Like, we've got a downstairs little, like, well, it's not even a bathroom, it's like just a little toilet, and I was hiding in it down in the dark, and when she came in to put her so mean I started laughing. She came in and it's pure dark in there, so as she's opened the door, my pasty pale face just went straight at her, and she was like, collapsed. She couldn't breathe. I was like, it's me. You're the one.
Oh my God. See, I will go into a deep dive sometimes and just watch those type of videos on YouTube, and then just sit here dying laughing all night. It's just like, if I need a good laugh, I'll watch people getting scared.
Oh, it's great fun, isn't it?
Oh, I do it to people on set too from time to time. I'll do that to her, especially our female lead for Terrifier 2, Lauren, because she has a fear of clowns already. And so I would, if she was in the middle of a conversation with someone, I would just sneak up behind her and just stand there and wait for her just to turn around, and I'd be right in her face. And I was risking it every single time, because she's got a black belt in, I think karate or something like that. So I'm surprised I did not get my ass handed to me on set. It's just, oh my God, I would scare the crap out of her. Keep her on her toes, and it'd help keep her in character, of course. So, you know.
You're a bad man.
It was like my first night on set too, was with her and one of our other females in the film, Kaylee. And they were in the trailer, and I just stood outside of the door to the trailer looking through the window while they were having a conversation. I didn't do anything. I just stood there and just like grinning at them. And then they see me in the window and they freaked out. And I'm like, welcome to Terrifier.
I love it.
It's their initiation to the film. So I was like, yeah, it's fun.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Going on that, have you done any pranks offset in your art garb?
Oh, yeah. Especially when I've been at conventions. I like to just sneak up on people, like in the lobbies of the hotels. Even if they're not the convention goers, I like to just mess with people. I'll go up because I'll have my horn with them too. So they'll just be sitting there, and I'll just go right behind them and and they turn around, see me, and they freak out even more. So it's like I get them scared first with the honk, then they see me and it scares them again. So it's
nice
great.
double whammy there you go. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I love it.
I'm gonna keep my eye out for you, sir. If I see you at the convention, I'm hiding.
I'm surprised I haven't got myself kicked out. I'll be in the elevators with people and they freak out, and I'm just like,
yeah, I would freak out.
Oh yeah, it's fun. I've made grown men cry. So
I'd like to introduce our speaker, David. I'm sorry, what? He's been what? Get him back in the convention. Come, get him back in here.
That's not how it works.
Oh no. It's like, but when you're dressed up like that, you gotta have fun with it. You got to.
Yeah. How many pieces? I'm dying over here.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God. So as an actor, what are your thoughts and feelings on online streaming services growing the lack of physical DVD rental stores and movie piracy? That made no sense. Shall I try that one again?
No, it makes sense. I know what you mean. It's interesting. It's a change that's happening now because I love going to the theater myself and seeing a lot of films on big screen. I think horror films especially need to be seen with a big audience because it's that whole camaraderie. It's more fun to see especially a slasher film with a big audience. I love that. But as we've seen with COVID, it's like we can't do that, and that's been something that's with streaming. It's been something that's helped keep this industry afloat in a lot of ways, and I think that's probably where a lot of things are going to be going this day and age is more with streaming with releases and everything like that. But I'm hoping that we're still going to be able to keep the theaters open. But in a way, it's been a boon, especially for indie films like Terrifier, because that's how we were usually seen anyways, was through these like streaming releases. That's how we were seen originally, was video on demand and everything like that. So I think it's giving indie films a bigger shot at being seen now. So there's good and bad to it, but we'll see where it goes. Because like I said before, I don't know if Terrifier could even be released in theaters because of the content matter. So
yeah, we all know which part you mean.
Yeah.
Actually, there's a few parts. Actually, we're not.
Oh yeah.
There's a few parts actually.
Oh yeah. It gives these, I think in some ways it's allowing for people to take bigger risks because now they don't have to worry about putting them in theaters. Now they can just release it streaming and like, okay, we can actually give you the version we wanted to give you. We don't have the studio system saying, nope, can't do that because we have to make it more PG. I think that's ruined a lot of horror films. I know like some films have been filmed with the intent of going rated R, and then the studio later on says no, we want to make it more PG-13 now because we want to get more younger people in seats. They think that's going to actually increase ticket prices, which it really doesn't. I think as we saw in the 80s and the 90s when these slashers were released in theaters with R-rated releases, they still made a profit. People still want to go see them, and even if the younger kids would go, they'll go because they their older brother or sister took them, or their parents took them, or they snuck in. People always found a way to go see them. So I hope this is a way to get this genre back to where it used to be.
Yeah, I agree. And Jim's just put it's all about the money, and I'm like, yeah, less about the art and more about the money. It's like that's not what people want to see. Like you've seen some really good concepts watered down, and you're just like, oh, that could have been so good.
Oh
like,
yeah.
I
I know of one film in particular through someone that was in it, and she said, because she told me how the film was originally when they filmed it, and then I see it on screen. I'm like, wait, where's all the stuff that you said was going on in this film? She's like, oh yeah, they decided to make it PG-13 after we filmed it, and so they cut out a lot of that. I was like, it's a shame. And I think it would have been a more successful film and probably would have gone on as a franchise if they had kept it as they originally intended it to be.
Yeah. A lot of actors talk about the concern of being typecasted, especially now you've said you're doing some more horror movies, and only offered a certain character. How do you feel about that? Like, I think you're fantastic as a horror character anyway, but how do you feel about it? Would you want to just do horror? Or?
I would, you know, if that's where I'm meant to go, that's where I'm meant to go. I was like, I'm an actor first and foremost, so like I'm still acting. That's how I look at it. It's a job, and I'm still able to do what I want to do. So I love it. And plus, the characters I get to play are fun characters anyway, so I can't complain about that. It's not like I'm playing to some, you know, milquetoast, boring character. I get to play the villain. I get to play some really creative, creepy characters. I love that. I mean, I look at Doug Jones, who has made a fantastic career for himself playing character roles like this. And so that's what I would like. So I'm like, I'm totally fine with that. I mean, I would love to do more comedy because that's really what my background really is in. But, you know, who knows? I mean, because people are used to me in the makeup. So I was like, well, I'm not really known for how I look normally. So, I mean, I guess that frees me up in some way. So I could do other things. But who knows? But, you know, if this is what I keep getting cast in, I'm fine with that. I embrace it. I'm luckier than most. Most people would kill to be able to just do this kind of stuff. I struggled for 13 years to get to this point, so I can't just go, oh no, I'm tired of doing this. I want to be taken more seriously as an actor and blah blah blah. It's like if that's what you're doing this for, then you're doing it for the wrong reason.
Yeah, I agree. And like it's worked out for like actors like Danielle Harris, because she's like Scream Queen. She's amazing. Oh my god, I love her. And Robert Englund especially. Like he's done so many horror movies outside of the Nightmare on Elm Street band.
Well, I look at Felissa Rose. I mean, she is one of the hardest working women in the genre. She is always doing something. And she's happy. And that's what I love about it. And they're not big, huge, you know, AAA releases that are seen nationwide and stuff like that. But that doesn't matter to her. She's just happy to be doing what she's doing. And she's got the right attitude towards it. And I wish more people had that kind of attitude. She has fun with her life and she's enjoying her life. And she gets to play some fun characters. And she's in Terrifier too, even. So. Oh, cool. And Scream. She's in Scream as well. Oh, yeah, I can announce that. She's on the IMDb page. So, yeah. So there are certain people they haven't announced yet, so I'm like, oh God.
We can edit it out if you need to. Just let us know. We'll cut it out if you need to. Yeah.
If it's not on the IMDb page, then take it out.
We'll be sure to double check for you. No worries.
Yeah. Thank you.
We'll double check. Rich Davis has put Samara Weaving as my current favorite horror queen.
She's great. Oh, she's great. Every single horror film I've seen her in, it's been a great film. It's been a fun film. It's funny. It's like if I see that she's in a film, I'm like, okay, this is gonna be a fun film.
It's gonna be good. Yeah.
I like Ready or Not or Babysitter. I was like, oh my God, these are such fun films.
What was the one? Was it Mayhem she did with Stephen Yeun?
I haven't seen that one yet. I need to say that too.
We'll have forgotten by the time we got to the end.
Oh yeah.
If you had a chance right now to pick anyone in the film industry to work with, who would you pick?
That's tough. Boy, I would say, because I like to learn from people. And so I would really love to work with like Jim Carrey or Doug Jones. I think I could learn so much from them.
Yeah. And Jim Carrey's got that really good like animated way of acting, doesn't he? So
Yes.
He'd be amazing to work with. He'd be amazing to meet, actually. People are saying that Terrifier is misogynistic. You're gonna get me all angry. Right, anyway.
She feels very strongly on this subject.
Yep.
Yes, here it comes.
Yeah.
Oh, Damien and I do too.
Yep. But what they fail to see is there are actually more male deaths than they are female.
Exactly.
I can see how Dawn's death would be worst death. Like for a woman, you're like, ooh. But if you look at a film like Teeth, men are getting their bits chomped off by ladies, other ladies' bits. So you know. But I think it's really unfair. And how do you feel about it?
I completely agree with you. First and foremost, art is the bad guy.
Yeah.
That's the thing. He's the villain. You're not supposed to, he's doing horrible things. That's why he's the bad guy. He's not going to be, you know, taking people out for, you know, cookies and milk later on. He's going to do whatever he's doing, and that he's evil. He's evil. This is what evil people do. Yeah. And I guess they're looking at like what he did with Dawn, probably I call it the Buffalo Bill scene. Well, the stuff he does with Dawn is that's not him. There's nothing sexualized about that at all. No. What he's doing there is trying to break Tara's character mentally. That's his thing, because he's like, if she's a very strong-willed woman, I want to break her. That's his. Art is all about messing with people's heads and breaking them as people. He wants to break people down, male or female. I look at him as an equal opportunity killer. Yeah. And this is what he's doing. He's taking this woman's best friend and degrading her and doing brutal things to her in front of her like that. And that's his goal. And then with the Buffalo Bill scene, he's doing this to her sister. It's like, hey, I'm going to make you think I'm your sister, and I'm going to wear this stuff. That from actually who's not actually your sister, from the Catwoman. Yeah. And I'm just messing with you. I'm trying to really creep you out and just make you lose your mind here. I kind of look at it as like, you know, what Joker did in Killing Joke. It's all about, you know, that's really what Terrifier is kind of the Killing Joke in a way, about that one bad day. One bad day can reduce the sanest man alive to lunacy. And that's what he did with Victoria. Yeah. And what he tried to do to Tara. And when he just found out he couldn't do that to her, he just, okay, I'm done with you. There's nothing I can do with you. You're dead. Bye. I'm done playing with you. I got your sister coming here. I'm going to try to break her down. So that's where it had nothing to do with them being women. It was just like he saw someone that he wanted to break. Yeah. And I will say that Terrifier 2 will probably do away with people think he's just a misogynist. So.
Good, because
I love the way you said that. That was just brilliant. I'm like, oh, got chills.
He hates everybody equally. It doesn't matter, male, female, whatever. He will just he does this to entertain himself. This is all fun for him, and I think that's what makes him scarier, because he's not doing this out of vendetta or anything like that. This is entertainment for him. He's the anti-clown. Because clowns, their job is to entertain people and bring joy to them. His job is to bring misery to others and entertain himself.
Yeah. Yeah. Which actually ties into a question. So I've actually skipped a question, and I'll go back to this one because it ties in with what you were saying. So I've seen some comments on YouTube, like when I've been doing like sort of research and stuff. When he's in the pizza place with Tara and Dawn, do you think if they were more receptive to him and much more nicer, maybe even played along with him, he'd have just moved on to somebody else? Or no,
he had already zeroed in on him. He's like, okay, I kind of look at it. He was just for a stroll that night. He was like, just looking for his victim. He's like, I'm going to see who I come across, and game on. Ooh. And as soon as he came across him, it's like that look he gives him when you see that look where he's like, aha, here we go. Here's my prey for the night. And game on. Oh, he had already zeroed in on it. He's like, yep, they're not going to live.
Yeah. Oh, gone past all my questions. There we go. How long did it take to get the creepy stare down to a T in the pizza place scene where you just that's the bit that got me. That is the bit that creeped me out. I was like, oh.
I think because that's a real fear that women have, and it really took me no time to get that down, because living here in New York City, riding the subway, I have seen men do that to women, to like some of my female roommates in the past. I've seen this happen, where guys will just sit there and stare at a woman, and it's creepy. I've even had people stare at me on the train just for no reason, and it's creepy.
Yeah.
And that's what I was pulling from. It's just like, and I, oddly enough, when I was a camp counselor, I would do that to kids on the bus to make them behave. All I would do is just stare at them and smile. And would do that, like, not to little kids. I would do it to the 15-year-olds and stuff like that, where they're trying to be little jerks in the back of the bus, like
the ones who think they're the badasses and you want to shut them down.
Oh yeah, that's what I would do, because it's hard to get those, because you can't tell me what to do. And I was just like, oh yeah, and I just.
Oh, that's so creepy, dude.
And I wouldn't blink. And the first thing they're like, okay, yeah, okay, yeah, you're really creepy, man. Okay, man, please stop. Okay, this is no fun. It was like, stop, and I would just keep doing it. I made one kid cry one time. It's like this big like jock, and he just stop, man. It's not fun anymore. You're scaring me, man. I was like, are you gonna behave now? He's like, yes, sir. I'm like, okay.
No, that is the what, like, of the whole movie, that's the bit that creeped me the hell out. I was like, oh no, I don't like that. And you just sit there and
it's so simple but so effective, because if someone does that to you in your everyday life, it's just as creepy. It's just that especially if they don't blink, because I remember, even though it's not true, I remember there was a whole thing going around about Anthony Hopkins in Silence of the Lambs, where he didn't blink when he was doing his scenes, but he does. But it's just, that whole idea that, you know, just not blinking when you just zero it in on someone is just, it's creepy.
It is creepy. Ugh, sorry. Damien said he would like to make Terrifier a trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
What would you like to see in Terrifier 3? Because, you know, let's jump ahead. And what kills would you like to see? And what would you like art? How would you like art to go out, like, to finish the trilogy?
Well, there's so much I can't say, because we've already been plotting ideas for, you know, part 3 and stuff like that. We actually had ideas for part 3 before we even finished writing part 2. But because we were like, where do we want to end this thing? Because we have an end goal in mind, so we already know how we want to end the movie, which is really cool. It's a cool concept. It's something I've never seen done before, and it wraps up the character in a fun way, but also leaves things open where you could always, in case we want to do more films, we could find a way to bring him back. But so that's what's fun. So we do have an end goal in mind, but I want to do more world building. Of course, I think I want to give a little bit more background into the character, not fully reveal everything.
No, I'm sorry, no.
Yeah.
Rich Davis got a great comment. It should end with Art meeting Pennywise, and Joker, and all of them struggling to get into a really tiny car and then driving off into the sunset. Rich, that's brilliant.
Oh my God.
That's Rich's new concept movie.
Oh my God, that would be great. Okay, that's it. That's what
that could be the art dream sequence there.
And Rich has offered to co-write if needed. Yeah.
Oh, that would be great. But yeah.
So needless to say, you really can't answer that question.
I can't. No worries. But I mean, there is a kill scene that I want to still do in part 3. I'm constantly going after Damien about, like, I want to. This is before I ever hang up the tiny hat. I have to do this kill scene, and it's I can't say what it is yet, but it's loosely based on a classic Marx Brother routine that I've thought of a dark twist on. So I would just love to. It would be so much fun to do. So much fun to do.
So many options are crossing through my mind right now.
Oh yeah,
interesting.
So many.
Oh yeah, because it's like I just love those type of, you know, the older black and white and silent films. You know, with the great physical comedy like that, especially, you know, like Buster Keaton and all that stuff. So it's like, I always like to go to those and like just look for inspiration.
And how many of those could so easily have gone so wrong?
Oh, so easily.
And they could be a perfect kill scene for, oh man, dude, that's a brilliant way of going for that. Wow.
I see where your head's at now. I see where you're going.
Yeah.
I applaud you. Well done.
Thank you.
I've been asked if, would you please ask for me if you could do, like, do you want a balloon, like by Pennywise going, would you like a balloon? I can't do it.
Would you like a balloon?
Oh.
I still haven't perfected my Pennywise voice yet, the Skarsgård version. I can't do the Tim Curry version. I wish I could do Tim Curry's voice. It drives me crazy because I love Tim Curry's just natural voice. It's just like, oh, good.
The man is a legend.
He could read the dictionary to me and I would be thrilled.
Amen to that, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I was just like, you would make the definition of onomatopoeia just be amazing.
I read somewhere that you found an online advertisement for somebody tall, thin, with experience in physical comedy and clown work for the audition for Art the Clown.
That is correct.
Yeah. After you found out more about the role, what attracted you to it? Like, what made you go, oh my God, I want to be him?
Oh, well, I had seen All Hallows Eve years ago, and I loved the character then. I was like, oh, man. And I thought to myself, oh my God, he's like an evil Mr. Bean. And I love that because I love Mr. Bean. Mr. Bean is like one of my favorite silent comedians. I used to binge watch Mr. Bean when I was younger, and that's where I learned a lot about physical comedy, was watching those videos over and over again. And I had always wanted a chance to play a character like that mischievous type of, silent character. And I was like, here's the opportunity to do it. And I get to do it in a fun, unique way, making him a killer. Oh my God, this is amazing. I have to do this. So it's like when I saw that post, it was on Actors Access. I contacted my agents, like, guys, please, I guarantee, because it was a low budget film at the time. So it's like, I know this is not going to, be a lot of money for me, but I really want to do this. I think this would be a fun, because I had never done film at that point. I had just done extra work. And I was like, I think this would be a great way for me just to get my foot in the door, get some experience doing film work. But this character, I know I can do a lot with. I think I would just knock this out of the park. And
how did you go when you were reading the script? Were you just excited, or were you going, oh, what the fuck?
It was a bit of both, because Damien wrote all the descriptions of the kills in there, and it was, I'm so used to, most slashers that you see, I thought maybe he's just writing these descriptions just so we know what happens. And so I contacted him. So it's like, so this kill scene with the hacksaw, that's just all off screen, right? He's like, oh, no, we're going to do all of that on screen. I'm like, oh, really? Yes, this is going to be amazing. This is going to get people talking. That, when I read that scene and I read the scene with the gun, I was like, we have got to do that, because that scene, I was like, that's going to get so many people talking, because people are not going to see that coming. With us killing her off and using a gun in a slasher, that's going to piss people off, and I love it, because they're not going to expect that. We're going to pull a psycho on them and kill off who they think is going to be the female lead halfway through the film. I'm there. I love this.
I'm not going to lie. I was like, what the fuck is going on? But once I actually heard Damien's why he did it, I was like, okay, that makes more sense. So yeah. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't so, at first it was like, that was so jarring. You're like, what?
And that's the point. And from that point on, you don't know what to expect from Art. That he can do whatever. He's like, there's no one safe. No one is safe. And it's kind of like what Gene Wilder did with Wonka, where he first, with his entrance, he mandated the only way he's going to do this film is he does his entrance where he's coming out, hobbling, and then falls down and rolls up and like that, because he wanted people to be from this point on, you don't know what to expect from this guy.
Yeah. Was any of it hard, for you, film, especially with that hacksaw scene? Was that hard for you, or were you like, no, it's fine, I know, it's all good?
It was a little bit. It was when we're doing Catherine actually hanging upside down like that. That was kind of hard, because that was literally hard to do, because it was a very dangerous thing we were doing, because a human's not supposed to be upside down like that. So we'd only let her hang upside down for about 30 seconds at a time. And so we had a very short window to film every single time, and it was very stressful. And plus, it was so cold that night. It was about 20 degrees in that room because there was no heat in there. And she was so miserable like that. And I hated that for her. And so that's where I was kind of stressing out, because I'm actually a very empathetic person, and I hate seeing people. I'm like, it's probably jarring for my co-stars, because when we're doing these, fight scenes and stuff like that, anything where I'm doing something violent to them, I'm always checking in with them as soon as they say cut. I'm like, are you okay? I just want to make sure. And sometimes they're like, dude, I'm fine. It's like, don't worry, I'm fine. I will let you know if I'm hurt. I'm like, okay.
So as we have discussed and touched on, Terrifier has a lot of gore in it, and some of it can be hard for viewers to watch. I mean, you had us women cringing and crossing our legs the way men do when they see a fellow man get hit in the nuts, basically.
It's only fair. Like I said, equal opportunity.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, I know we'd cover that before, like with the I'm fine and everything. I just had to say that, like, yeah, you had that camaraderie there for women. We're like, oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that was what was cool about Catherine. It's like when she was gung-ho to do that scene, because she's like, we had other people, I think, that turned down the role as well, because they're like, I don't want to do that, especially being exposed in that manner. But she was totally gung-ho to do it, because she knew what that scene was going to become for the genre, that was going to really get people talking. That was going to be a very memorable moment.
It's now on a t-shirt.
Yeah.
I don't get one. I'm so excited. I wish it was here, because I'd have wore it this evening.
Poo poo pee pee caca.
Richard just put, she was twice the actor she was before.
That is true. Though she was split on it,
Some actors are just beside themselves. What can we say? So
exactly.
Yeah.
Oh,
We decided to go halvesies on things. So.
There you go. Yeah.
I call it the up at the crack of dawn scene.
Oh. Oh.
Oh no.
And I thought I was good with the bad jokes.
Yeah.
Or bad with
I
the
was
jokes.
like, I love that they named her character Dawn. I'm like, oh my God, this is a great joke. This is I'm so happy with this. I love puns. So it's like, anytime I can make a joke like that, I'm thrilled.
So she was torn in two, ribs for dinner. We got more comments coming in. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I love it. So much fun.
Oh boy.
I have to stop laughing so I can talk.
While you do that, we did have another question that came in earlier. Jim was asking, because some of the work is probably done via custom, did you get to keep any of the masks?
I have not, no, unfortunately, no. Especially with part two. With part one, we just didn't even think about that. We were just, because we didn't expect it to be the hit it was. We were just like, well, we like it. We hope others like it, but we didn't have the expectations for it to like catch on like it did. We were just like, well, we think maybe the fans of All Hallows Eve will like this, but who knows? So we didn't keep any of the masks. We just tossed them in the trash. But for part two, we've that was part of the Indiegogo campaign. It's like those that donated a certain amount got a Screen Used mask, and so we had to keep the masks this time. So we had to be very, very careful taking them off every single night. And there were nights where I'm just like, I've been in them for like 20 hours. I'm like, just take this damn thing off me.
Is that whole campaign done and actually closed down, or okay?
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's like, but there's always part three. Who knows? We'll probably do another one of those. So
I'd definitely do something. I'd contribute to that. I'm not gonna lie.
Thank you.
And if you get the information for a 3 ever kicking off, let us know. I mean, we'll add the link to this video down the road too. I mean, you can always throw it in there later.
Definitely, because I have to say, part two is I would say the majority of the funding for part two comes from the fans. And that I'm so glad we did that campaign and made what we did off that campaign, because it really helped us, because every single dime was put to good use. Because a lot of the stuff we did, we have a big, huge set piece in this film that took us a week to film. It has a lot of stunt work and a lot of extras involved in it. And, as you see in the trailer, pyrotechnics are involved, and that's because of the fans that we were able to do that scene, especially because of the fans. So we're very grateful. because we're not a big, huge Hollywood film. We don't have $1 million budget like most films. And I think we have pulled off some amazing things with the budget that we have had for this film. It shows what can be accomplished when you have a truly talented crew and cast.
And very much with the Kickstarter Indiegogo mentalities that have been of fruition in the last couple of years. I mean,
yeah,
I've only done 3 movies myself where I've actually done funds to that too.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good feeling, makes me feel good. I mean, one of the movies actually did quite well. It was actually the Stephen and Robbie Amell Code 8. I donated to that one myself. Freaking love that movie, by the way. If you haven't seen it, definitely see it.
I'll have to check that out then.
Oh yeah, it was freaking fantastic. But just being able to actually have that, and now with like everyone's been saying, after the first movie and probably also after the second movie, you guys are definitely going to be developing one hell of a cult following. You have that for 3. Yeah, you're guys going to be funding bank for this one, for the next one, then potentially. Yeah.
Here's hoping. You know, It's just like we think we have made a pretty freaking awesome movie. I think this blows the first one out of the water. Personally, I think this is our Empire Strikes Back. But it's because I think we took everything from the first film and improved on it, and then addressed the criticisms of the first film and improved on those things as well. And I think this is the type of film that fans deserve. This is a sequel done right in my mind. But you know, I'm biased, but Damien and I have talked about this. We're like, you know, even on the off chance it is not as successful as the first film, we're pretty freaking proud about what we've accomplished with this film. We can't wait to see it. Yeah. Thank you.
And we can't wait to see it either.
Boy, it's exciting. It's funny because like we have a good feeling about this, because Damien likes to, like, when we've been on set for stream, he'll show some of these actors and that weren't involved with Terrifier. He'll show them some of the scenes he just edited, because he likes to get people's opinions. He wants to see, okay, how does this look? What do you think? And seeing some well-named actors in the genre just lose their shit over some of the stuff we've already filmed we must be doing something right if that's the reaction we're getting from these people. So
I'm going to go ahead and stick my neck out here, but I don't think I'm really going to have to worry too much here. Mm-hmm. Once you get to that point, if you're looking for the average person's opinion, Scottie and Erin here, I think they'd be willing to look. If you guys are looking for the average Joe's opinion,
especially the Frady Cat version, yeah.
It was fun because like the big kill scene that we filmed right before Christmas, Damien was so excited because it's some week to film this thing, like I said earlier, and Damien went immediately to start editing it, and you know, even before he put he hasn't even, I don't know if he's done it yet, but put all the sound effects and all the music and everything in it, but he just showed a very rough cut to his family over the holidays, and they freaked out. His mom almost disowned him for what we were doing. It's like, who are you? But in a good way. It's like they really.
Oh, that's gold.
And these are people that are so used to seeing his work and over and over again. So they're so desensitized to a lot of it. But when they get that kind of reaction, that's like, okay, we're on the right path then.
Yeah.
You ever need a screening? Hello.
Oh my God, you have no idea how excited I am for everybody to finally see this, because I'm going to be so happy when it's finally released, so I can finally talk about so much stuff. Oh my God, there's so much I want to talk about. Characters I want to talk about it's not just my character, other characters of this. They're characters I adore in this movie, and I can't wait for people to be introduced to them.
We'll have you back.
Yeah. Two things here. Once the movie comes out, we'd be happy to have you again.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
2, Rich just said, I bet he never gets asked to carve the turkey.
No.
Well said, Rich. Very well said.
No.
It'd just be in shambles everywhere.
Quite a few people have said when reviewing Terrifier that this is a horror movie that breaks the rules of the genre, in that you really have absolutely no clue who is going to survive. That technically there isn't a hero that saves the day.
Right.
And how some of the kills and the attacks happen off camera. And so, like, obviously the big ones, you know, we saw, but some of the other ones happened off camera, and then the audience has that shock value of stumbling upon it, basically going, oh shit.
Yeah.
What is this? Do you agree with that description, or do you have any other thoughts and feelings on that you'd like to share?
I do agree with that. That's a good summation of like what we did, because we did try to break a lot of rules. We wanted to, you know, further evolve this genre in some ways, and that's what we set out to do. It's like let's do some new things, because you need to bring new elements to this genre. It gets stale after a while, and I think that's what's been happening this past decade or so. It's gotten a little bit stale, and we need something new in there. And so, like, okay, let's break some of the rules. Let's add a gun to it, which to me, you know, adding a gun makes sense, because that's part of our everyday culture now. Unfortunately, is like gun violence. That's a very real and valid fear by especially a lot of the younger generation now, where they have to practice, you know, gun drills at school now. So I think that's a very valid fear. And of course, why wouldn't a killer use a gun? You know, but you know, when he uses a gun, he uses it as a slasher would. He's just not 2 shots in the head and you're dead. He disfigures people with a gun.
Yeah, like that was really shocking to me. Like seeing you go, oh yeah, like he's, you know, got, you know, he's gonna slash people, then all of a sudden, bam, pulls out the gun. You're like, where did that come from? And then holy hell, what else is in his bag? What else is he going to do next?
Yeah, and it's not just in the bag. You know, that was just in his shoe. Yeah. He pulled that out of his shoe. It's just like he's got he's got contingency plans. He's smarter than people give him credit, I think, too. It's like people don't realize, like, he locked down that whole entire building. He put locks on the doors. He had everybody trapped in there. He knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
And the drugs to inject her as well. To knock her out. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Very, very smart guy.
So you've got us all hanging out for October when Terrifier 2 is released, and you've said how you're wanting to look for, like, give hints and everything in those stories about Art's backstory, and so we learn more about him. Is there anything that you can tease us with? Anything at all? Or just
I will say, I mean, that you are going to love our female lead in this. This is very much her film as it is Art's film. I kind of look at Terrifier as Art's introduction. This is Sienna's introduction. This is where you see, because in a lot of ways, you see Art become Art in Terrifier, you know, with him waking up at the end of it back from the dead. You know, that's kind of an origin in a lot of ways. It's like, okay, now he's Art. And this one, you see Sienna become Sienna. And this is where Damien really fleshed out a lot of plot, did a lot of character development with her character and her family. She's someone that's, you know, not your cookie cutter heroine. You know, just like, you know, she's kind of a fanboy in a lot of ways too, where she's not just your typical just pretty girl. She's kind of like a cosplayer and stuff like that. She's like a character I think a lot of horror fans will be able to identify with, and so they'll root for her more, I think. And she's a kick-ass character. She's you know, I think this is a character Damien has had in his head for like over a decade that he has wanted to bring to life, because he loves these type of characters, these like Ellen Ripley type of characters. So it's because, you know, Art. This is Art's. I like to say she is the Batman to Art's Joker.
Oh, nice reference.
And this is I can't wait for people to see this character, because I love her character. I love the character of her brother in this, and I love the friends that she's going around with. It's just, she's got a great journey if she survives.
Yeah.
Like I said, you never know.
Exactly.
You never know.
So if I can jump in here, this is Lauren you were talking about.
Yes.
This is the one you were talking about. That's the martial artist, right?
Correct.
Okay, so I just pulled up her IMDb page. I'm literally just straight reading this off her IMDb page. Aside from her acting career, Lauren has 19 plus years of experience in martial arts, including Taekwondo, Jiu-Jitsu, Kung Kumar, Wushu, Muay Thai, as well as studied boxing, kickboxing, weapons and firearm training.
Yep.
Don't scare her. Please.
Wow.
Yeah, and we didn't even know that when that was not even written for the characters. Like, holy shit.
She's in the third one. You need to lay off in the pranks or she's gonna kill you.
Yeah.
Also,
she's great. She's absolutely fantastic. It's just like, if she survives, who knows what we can do with all that one day. So,
Wow.
Yeah.
My favorite part in Terrifier was what we've touched on before, the Buffalo Bill reference, where you're done up as the cat lady. That to me was just the most epic mind fuck ever. And instead of being scared, I was laughing. I thought you were brilliant, like with the hair flick and the sachet, and then like when it's the camera view through the keyhole and how you're moving. I'm like, oh. I was laughing so hard, and my husband's looking at me going, "What the fuck are you laughing at?" I'm like,
yeah,
this is awesome. Yeah, Scottie was like cringy, like that was her moment. But for me,
there's
that was
so much to that scene too, because it wasn't even written like that originally. It was originally I was wearing all that over my clown costume. And it was 2 days before we filmed it, and Damien's like, "Dave, you're probably gonna hate me, but I have a sick idea." And it's like, "Why don't you do this naked?" I'm like, "Really?" I'm like, "Who wants to see me like that?" I was like, "No one wants to see my skinny ass." But I'm like, I had to think about it. I'm like, first of all, Catherine is really exposing herself in such a vulnerable way for her scene, and if she's willing to do that for this scene, knowing what it's going to become, I can do that for this. And second of all, like, I think that would actually make it a lot creepier, because like he's wearing someone else's skin over is on top of his own skin just to mess with something. That is messed up. So that was part of it. And then when we filmed it, we did 2 different versions of that. The first version is what you saw. And the second version is where I come up with the baby Emily. And I'm nursing it. And then I started puppeting the baby to like help me find where she's hiding. So I had the baby like whispering stuff in my ear, and I have it like pointing that she's in the closet. And I was playing around with it that way. And Damien had 2 totally different options to go with, and he basically had to flip a coin. I would love it if he could one day release the other version just so people could see it, because I think both are equally creepy in their own way, because that doll itself is creepy. Oh my God, that thing's creepy. But, I would love to do some variation on that scene that was not seen one day. That would be fun to do.
Thank you. As a fan, thank you so very much for making that decision, and allowing and to do that and putting yourself through that to do it, because it would have been a completely different spin on that scene if he was totally in the clown suit during it. Yeah.
I just felt sorry for our crew. That was Samantha Scafidi, who plays Victoria. That was her first night ever working with me on set. So that was an interesting way for her to be introduced to me. I'm like, "Hi, I'm David, and these are my boobs. Welcome to Terrifier." And that's how I could tell exactly who she was, because, I think most people would be like, "What the hell have I gotten into?" She just started cracking up, and she's like, "This is freaking awesome. Yes." I'm like, we've got the right person for this film, because like Samantha was so much fun to work with. she's just so freaking cool, so funny, and it's just like it just made it so much more fun.
That was definitely my favorite part of the films. What was your favorite?
My favorite part was the pizzeria scene. I had so much fun with that scene because I like to just experiment and play around with things. And, you know, when Damien wrote this, he didn't know what I was like as an actor at that point. And so we just did a lot of things where I was like, hey, I got an idea. Can I try this? And he's one of these awesome directors where he's very actor friendly. And if you have an idea, he's totally open to hearing it. And sometimes he will flat out say, no, this is how I want the scene to go. But in that one, he's like, yeah, let's totally play around with different faces and whatever you're doing in this. And we'll see what we come up with. And that's what we did. So with Terrifier 2, he knew this now about me, that I like to experiment and see what I had to work with in the moment. And so he wrote certain scenes in Terrifier 2 where he is like, okay, artisan in this environment, and this happens at the end of it. And he's like, art does his thing. And that's where he's like, okay, we'll just see what we have on set. And there were a few scenes in this film where I did not know what I was going to do until I was on set that day. And I just looked at what I had around me in my environment. I'm like, okay, I got a whole routine now. And I would just go and like, Dave, I want to do this. And she's like, okay, cool, let's film it. And we'll do variations on them and stuff like that. It's just a lot of experimentation. And sometimes even crew members would have an idea for something I didn't even think of. I'm like, hey, let's try that. And we'll do that. And
that is awesome.
Sometimes we do a silly version of a scene where he's a little bit more comedic, and then we'll like, okay, now we've done that. Now let's do a scary version. Because I like to think like Damien's really good at doing scary and freaky. I'm good at doing the comedy, and I think that's why we work so well together. We find a nice balance of the two between the two of us.
You did. Just only talking about Terrifier 1, yeah, you did. It was brilliant.
Thank you.
You're welcome. One question: how long did it take for you to physically transform into art every day, and was that at all uncomfortable?
Yeah, that took about 3 to 4 hours, depending on how much battle damage I have on me or blood and all that. Because it's a gelatin mask that he just glues to my face, which takes a while because it's actually not molded to my face. He's using the old mold from Mike Gianelli, who was original art. And because he made a mold of my face, but it did not come out looking exactly like he wanted to, the sculpt that he made. So it's like, oh, so he has to make it fit to my face, Mike's face fit to my face, which is kind of weird. But he does it, and it works out very well. And then the blood splatters are always a pain because we don't film in sequence. So we have to take so many reference photos and try to match up the splatters so we have continuity because, oh, God. Blood continuity is a pain in the ass.
Yeah. Is there anything about your performance that you look back on and you wish you could change? Like either about art or... Yeah.
There's one scene in particular, I call it my Plan 9 from Outer Space moment, where it's just like, yep, there's a mistake there. It's where I'm choking Tara's character. And if you look, I'm not actually choking her. My hands are actually kind of hovering over her throat because I thought they were doing a close-up of her face. And so I was just putting my hands there just for, effect for her. And they had done close-ups of her face, but those shots, for some reason or another, weren't working. And so they had to go with that one shot where I'm kind of hovering over her. So I'm force choking her, it looks like. And I hate that. It drives me crazy every time I see it. But it's the fun little Easter egg where I was like, oh, yeah, okay, that's a little funny oops in the moment. So
I'm going to have to go back and look for that.
Oh, yeah, you'll notice it now. It's like I noticed it immediately when I saw it. I was like, oh, no.
Not going to lie, I noticed.
Yeah, it drives me crazy. I saw there was one person that did a review one time and they pointed it out. And I actually commented, I'm like, thank you for pointing that out because that drives me nuts too. And I'm like, that's the one thing I would really change about the movie. I would love to go back. So like when we're doing part 2, that's something, Damon would always comment on. It's like, David, now don't do the choke moment, make sure. Because because I never want to hurt the person I'm acting with. So I'm always just I want to see how far I can go with chokes and stuff like that before I'm actually hurting them. So like I'm like, okay, how's this? Because different actors respond different ways. Some people want me to flat out choke them. Other people are like, that's enough. I'm like, okay, cool. But we want it to still look real.
From a straight up safety standpoint, that thought scares the crap out of me.
Oh,
but
yeah. Yeah. There have been some moments where I've had to refuse doing stuff because I'm like, this is a little bit too close for my comfort. I'm not going to go further with this because I just don't feel like there's especially a moment in part 2. I was just like, ooh, I can't go any closer with this thing. Yeah.
One of the questions that came across in the chat was, what is either your favorite or what was the most interesting death in the film?
Mm-hmm. Now, I would say most people would think it was the hacksaw scene for me. I think that's an awesome kill. I love it. It's the most memorable kill. But to me, my favorite one, because I think it's done so well, is the decapitation of the exterminator, played by Michael Levy, who's actually my director in Stream. But he's also, it's a fun little Easter egg in there. He's the Staten Island Clown. And they were the guys that started the whole scary clown craze. They were doing a year before Wrinkles of Clown was doing that, where he was standing out in public and freaking people out. They were doing that on Staten Island, just standing out dressed as clowns and creeping people out in public. Plus, I just think it's a really cool kill scene. Just like it's not just a simple decapitation. He kind of treats it like a Pez dispenser, then pops it off, and then kicks it. When we did variations of me doing the kick too, I did like one where I did like the goal and stuff like that.
That's cool. Yeah. I actually seen a review on it. Somebody reviewed that scene and they were like, that's quite an accurate depiction, which is kind of fucked up in itself, of an actual decapitation. I was like, because he's at it for a while, isn't he?
He's sawing away at it. And that actually wasn't even in the original script or in the original rough cut of the film. We did a screening of Terrifier at Telluride Horror Festival back in 2016, and that film that scene wasn't even in there, and nor was the morgue scene at the end. It just ended when Art shoots himself, basically. And so we came back, and because one of our producers wanted to do one extra kill scene, and it's like, I want to do the decapitation scene, so Damien wrote that scene in there.
Oh.
Yeah.
Going into some general horror here.
General horror.
Who do you personally think is the scarier clown, Art or Pennywise?
Oh, Art.
Thank you. I'm not the only one that does that. Thank you, David. I'm not the only one that does that. Thank you.
Oh, I know.
I agree.
It's Art. Pennywise got his ass kicked by kids. Come on now.
Yeah, it's like all you have to do is make fun of him and he's dead. He's gone. He's like, you're a loser. You're not scary.
Art would kick his ass.
Plus, Art, I think what's scarier about Art is he's actually a human being at first. It's like he's a guy dressed as a clown. That makes him scary because that's actually something that could actually really happen in real life.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
Plus, Pennywise is, he's loud and obnoxious. He's over elaborate with his kills and stuff like that. Where it's like, Art is just he's realistic in that way, where he's like, he just will attack you with whatever he has. He makes his own weapons, and he's all about the art of the kill. He's not just trying to scare people. He wants to just flat out murder people in just horrible, horrible ways. I think it's kind of scarier.
Yeah. Now, Scottie was very, very excited to read that you are a big horror fan and that one of your favorites is Nightmare on Elm Street 3. Is that true?
It is. I think that is really where that series really figured out what it was. It's like that's where Freddy really became Freddy. And I think that's also when people really started recognizing Freddy as an icon, too. That's when it really came mainstream instead of just because before that it was more of like a cult classic, in a lot of ways. People weren't taking it seriously until part 3, but part 3 really fleshed out characters. It did some gutsy things. It had some amazing kill scenes in it. You found out a lot more about Freddy, and it just took everything up to another level.
It was a brilliant movie. And do you know, you're the first person I've ever met who likes the franchise anyway, but has said that number 3 was their favorite, and I'm just like, I love you.
What was that?
Just say it, Scottie.
You can say it.
I love you.
Oh, thank you. It's such a fun film. It's just we were actually back in 2019 at a convention with Heather Langenkamp, and that's what she was pointing out to us. It was just like, with Terrifier, she was amazed how quickly it's already caught on with people. She's like, it took, like she said, it took Freddy to get recognized a few years. Mm-hmm. It took basically part 3 for him to finally get taken seriously by the community. Yeah. So it's like, she's like, you guys did something amazing. It's like,
what was your favorite kill in 3 then? Sorry, guys.
No,
I loved the marionette kill. I thought that was so cool.
That's so fucked up when you see the special effects as well. You see that, like, coming out. Oh, that's gross.
Oh, so and then just right off and just, oh my God, just cuts this. So good, so
high
good.
High five.
Yes. It's such a cool kill scene. It's funny because at one point I was like, I mentioned it, because like Damien and I brainstorm kills all the time because we don't want to repeat something someone's already done. And I had made a riff like, I would love to do something like make someone into a puppet or something like that. He's like, oh, they've done that in both Killer Clowns and Nightmare on Elm Street. I'm like, oh yeah, you're right. Damn it.
It was so good though. It was.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so happy I found someone else who's like, brilliant, love it.
Oh, it's just great. It's prime time, bitch. Welcome to prime time, bitch. It's like,
that's exactly what Rich just said in the chat.
Exactly
what Rich just said.
Yeah. I've actually got like a cringy confession to do with that movie. I can recite it completely without even watching it.
Oh, it's such a good one. It's an entertaining film. That's how I like my horror films, especially my slashers, to be. I like to just be entertained. Just turn off my brain and have fun. That's why I love like some of the newer ones like Ready or Not or Babysitter or Final Girls, because I was like, God, these are just fun. Oh, Willy's Wonderland recently too. I had so much fun watching that. It's fun. It's just fun. That was actually one of those things where I put up on Facebook after where I saw this. Like, wouldn't that be fun to see Nick Cage's character from that go up against Arch? Because neither of them talk.
I'm gonna go watch that as well.
Oh, it's a fun film. It's just you don't go in there expecting Shakespeare. Just go in there expecting just a fun slasher.
Yeah, I've actually seen this one. Rich has put Freaky as another fun one. Oh yeah, that was good fun. It was a good film. I like that one.
Yeah.
This one was mental as the woman, like, because they sort of like switch bodies. It's kind of like a Freaky Friday.
Yeah.
Messed up. Here's like the teenage girl.
I hate it sometimes when people just try to take themselves way too seriously with something like that. I'm like, no, have fun with it. Especially slashers. Just have fun with it.
Definitely.
You can go more serious with stuff, like Hereditary or something like that. But slashers, just have fun with it.
Yeah.
What would be your ultimate fun way to die in a slasher flick then?
Oh my God. I'm afraid to say because who knows, we might implement it in part 3. But because it'd just be fun to go out in just a total blaze of glory, or some kind of poetic death or something like that. But yeah, it's like because you always want to see the killer get their true comeuppance, and the idea that we have for Terrifier 3 is, like I said, it hasn't been done before, and I think it's a really cool way to show, a good comeuppance for a villain. It's very, very fitting for the character.
Yeah. Cool. I can't wait to see it.
Now, that is a perfectly valid point. We totally get that. How would David like to go out in a horror film?
Yeah.
Oh God, just with something that's just I guess funny, but also just heroic in its own way. Just like getting that last punchline in, but in just a satisfying way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah. Where it takes out the bad guy too. It's just it's that self-sacrifice, but going out with just some memorable line or something like that. Just be like, oh, that would be great.
And before we move on to some other questions, in regards to cosplay and everything, but just wanted to ask, if you could portray any other villain other than Art, who would you want to be?
Oh, easily Joker.
Yeah, I thought that was a bit of an easy question there.
But other than that, I'm like, I would love to tackle Dracula, or Nosferatu. I would like to do that. Really bring that back. That would be a lot of fun.
I was saying to the guys earlier, I thought you would make a good Freddy remake. I think you've got.
I'm very honored to hear that, but that scares the crap out of me because I don't think anybody is ever going to surpass what Robert Englund did. No. I'm like, he's the ultimate version. It's that's like stepping on Superman's cape. Yeah. It's you can't beat what he's did. Yeah. I mean, Jackie Earle Haley is a fantastic character actor. He couldn't beat what Robert Englund did with that. That is Robert's character to me.
Yeah.
To be honest, with that film, I think they destroyed it with all the CGI.
Yeah. It's so much better with practical effects. That's one of the things that drove me crazy about the new It movies.
Yeah.
Was the CG would take me out of it.
Yeah.
Like with the old lady coming out, at first it's crazy when you see her in the background shuffling around, but then when she comes out, I was like, okay, that was so cartoonish. It was just that took me out of it. I was like, I laughed instead of being freaked out like I should have.
Yeah.
No. I understand when you do CG when you absolutely can't do practical. When they had the Paul Bunyan. That's hard to do. You would have to do that with stop motion or something like that if you did that, and that just this day and age would not hold up nearly as well. But when you can actually do it practical with makeup, do it that way.
Yeah, I agree.
It always looks better.
Yeah, and I think it makes the film better as well.
Oh yeah, I mean, best example of that is what they did with American Werewolf in London, the transformation scene. It's that's the best. That is the best werewolf transformation scene you will ever see in a movie.
Yeah.
And they've done it so many times, so many other movies with CG, and it just never looks as good.
No.
Because there's that disconnect. Because when you see CG, it's that subconscious, okay, this is fake. But when that's actually something that was built, that's something tangible, that when you see the face stretching out and the hands morphing, that was actually something real. That's even though it's a practical effect, it's not real, but you believe it more because it's tangible.
Yeah. Yeah, you've got Rich saying CGI should enhance, not replace. Kirsten's put, Scottie has a passion for special effects. I love special effects.
Special effects makeup specifically, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I have a huge appreciation, especially for it now, because I see what all really goes into it and how complex it can really be, but how effective it is. Damien has done amazing things with the special effects in part 2, where I think he's upped his game tremendously. It's some of the prosthetics he's made look photorealistic to the actor, where he's even made them where they can breathe. And it's just, it freaks me out at times. I'm like, oh my God, I thought that was such and such and so for a second. Jesus.
Rich actually made a really good comment before about you for villains. You'd make, and I agree with this actually, I'm looking at it as all I can really kind of see, you'd make a really good Hans Gruber.
Oh, yeah.
Now that you should redo Die Hard,
no, God, no, don't.
But now,
like a Gruber
Die
kid.
Hard prequel to get Hans to Die Hard.
Oh, I would be totally down for that.
Now that could be interesting. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that would be fun. Oh my God. Oh, that would be fun. Because
God, that's set during Christmas time.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, yeah, definitely.
The Christmas
oh
movie.
my God. Oh,
yeah.
Alan Rickman.
Once again, Rachel co-write. Yes.
Yeah.
Richard's saying the thing, and then the newer version need an impression. I think he meant an impression for Hans Gruber. Actually,
I would have to work on it, but I'm pretty sure I could figure out the voice given time.
We have faith in you.
Yes, thank you. I have always a harder time doing imitations of real people unless they have a very distinct voice. It's easier for me to do like cartoon voices, but Gilbert Gottfried, that's easy to do. It's like, oh my goodness gracious me! It's just like, I have no idea what I easily can do it because it's such a distinct voice. But when people are like, can you do Johnny over here? I'm like, no. You have to have a very distinct voice, like Christopher Walken or something. Wow.
No.
This is crazy. What's going on here? With this clown coming after me with his horn. Honk, honk.
You need to do like a sketch. That would be amazing. Of like actors reacting to art. That'd be amazing.
I hope they've been doing a lot of behind the scenes filming on set because I do a lot of these characters all the time when I'm in makeup and just goofing around in between takes. So there's probably some good footage out there, hopefully.
Your dance from the other day is brilliant, by the way.
Oh, thank you. I was just trying to stay warm and sane because that was like a very long week of filming for us. I was going off of no sleep because we had a 4-hour turnaround from the previous day and it was extremely cold in there and I'm covered in all that blood and I was just like, okay, how can I keep my sanity right now? I do that all the time where I'm dancing around and stuff like that because I try to keep things light for myself and others.
Yeah,
considering the content we could see why. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, we'd all be willing to slit our wrist, I think, otherwise.
Yeah, I know Jess has got a bunch of questions for you with regards to cosplay.
Sweet.
Yeah, as the group convention cosplay connoisseur, I got dubbed this topic.
Nice.
Nice. So I know you've said that you've gone to conventions definitely dressed as art.
Yes.
Did you cosplay and all at conventions before you got this role?
Oh, I did Joker a lot.
Like, how'd you get into that kind of world?
I just I've always loved dressing up like Joker because I look like him. So I was like, I started doing that in college where I would dress up like him for Halloween. I'm like, I need to do this more because I have fun doing that too because I just get to be in character. It's like when you dress up like a character like that, I can escape from myself for a little while and just be Joker and the reactions you get from people. I had fun with that. I would just play Joker at conventions and just go around and just mess with people and have fun that way. And I loved it.
Which Joker were you doing?
Oh yeah, which Joker?
Comic book version, I would say.
Okay.
I wasn't trying to do like Ledger or anything like that. I just did the comic book. Yeah. You could probably find pictures of me online. Like on my Instagram.
Did you go around messing with other Batmans?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Like, well, at the time too, I would go to some conventions with my Nightwing escalation people, and they would film me going around, and I would interview people, and I would have fun and just mess with people on the floor. And sometimes I would come across a Batman, and stuff would happen. It would just or Robin, and I was like, "Hey, Robin." Hey, Robin, knock, knock, stuff like that. Or like, one of my favorite jokes to do with Robin was, what's Robin's least favorite type of bar to go into? They're like, what? He's like, a crowbar!
Oh!
Nah.
Damn, that's dark!
Too soon, boy blunder.
Holy shit.
That was good.
I always had fun doing that kind of stuff. It was just an improv exercise for me. So I think there's probably a video out there from a few years ago at WinterCon where I'm going around just messing people as the Joker. and I had so much fun. It was just.
Have you ever ventured? I mean, you do art, you've done Joker. Do you venture out to any other kind of genres of cosplay?
I haven't yet. I would like to, though, eventually. I've been watching One Piece a lot recently. I'm up now up to like episode 400 something. So I would love to one day maybe do Luffy or Brook. So it would be fun. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. The cosplays I've done.
Tell them your story, Jess.
Which one?
Sweaty one. The sweaty one.
Oh, that okay. Now that one. You're so mean. I informed them.
Did you say the sweaty one or the slutty one?
Both.
They're actually the same story. One of the same stories. Yeah.
I did say sweaty one though.
Sweaty.
Okay, sweaty. Okay. It's like.
We did. Our friends and I dressed up as the cast from The Good Place, and I was Bad Janet. And it's San Diego Comic-Con. It's end of July
I think I've seen that. Yeah.
Weather. It's hot, and we go around the convention all day. It's a whole day thing. You're outside, and they had a whole Good Place theme going that convention. So we went.
God, I love that series.
And my friend, it was like, okay, I got to get out of this. I'm done. I want to get out. It's just ripping the pleather off. And I ended up taking off my bra. And I was like, hey, fun fact, your nipples don't sweat because they're two nice little holes right where those should be. They're dry as could be. Everything else soaked.
I have always, because like when we would do this with Nightwing, some of our people, go in their costumes, or they would dress as other characters. Like one of my friends, Jenna, dresses Artemis, and my other friend Carmen dresses Wonder Woman. And God, for them to go to the bathroom was an ordeal. Yeah, it's just like all the things that they had to take off, and I was like, oh God, because with me as Joker, I was just wearing pants, and I could just zip, woohoo. Then they're just like, I have to take this off and basically fully disrobe and have layers and all this. I'm like, God.
It's a delicate balance of staying hydrated but not having to pee that often,
and trying to stay warm too, when because so many of them were wearing next to nothing, and I'm like, oh Jesus.
See, we have the opposite problem. So I would live in San Diego, so we go to San Diego, and it's in the middle of summer, so the biggest problem is staying cool.
Yeah.
So trying to do like Game of Thrones or anything like that. You're just in this.
You just do naked Jon Snow and naked everybody. I just wear pasties. Yes, I'm Daenerys on her wedding night. Give me a heart, and then there we go. Just have strategically placed hair.
Yeah, that's the issue. Like my friend and I did Sherlock one year, and so you have this, winter coat, trench coat in the middle of summer. It's a distinct smell.
So that's when as Joker, I would dress as like Killing Joker with the beach outfit on.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That's where you got to think about it. You got plan. Like, how can I adapt it for the weather?
Yes.
I did that one year when I went to a convention during the summer, and I did Killing Joke with the Hawaiian shirt and everything like that. So
I've seen that picture. It looks wicked.
Thank you. I was a lot more comfortable that way.
Well, it sounds like you've been to a lot of different conventions. Do you have a favorite? Do you like to go to? That's one that's like, you're like, okay, that's my top of my list to go for the year once conventions come back.
I don't want to name names because, I do so many of them, and I don't want people, well, you can't come to ours now. But one I haven't been to yet, and I'm very much looking forward to going to, is Texas Frightmare later on this year. That's a big one. But I would love to go to San Diego Comic-Con one day. That's definitely a big goal of mine, is to be there at Comic-Con.
Let me ask.
Speak to Jess. Speak to Jess. Mm-hmm.
Yes, get me there. I would love to.
I'll talk. So my fiance works for Comic-Con. So
amazing. Yes, please. Especially like once
horror.
Because they're not doing Comic-Con this year, right? Because of pandemic.
No. So this year they just announced no in person during the summer. It's going to be virtual, but they are doing a smaller one. They haven't announced like what the whole theme of it's going to be. It's going to be something comic themed, but it's going to be in November. It's going to be smaller. It's gonna be in person.
Okay.
Yeah. So
well, keep me in mind, because I would especially love to come out there for the big Comic-Con, because I mean I would just love to go around Comic-Con myself and just be like, woohoo.
Even tourist, not headliner.
Oh, I am such a big geek. So I every convention I go to, I always spend time just going around looking at all the vendors and stuff like that, because I love seeing all the stuff that's out and about. And it's fun for me. That's why I love doing conventions so much, because I mean, it's fun for me being behind the table, but I like to go and explore the convention myself and have fun.
So what booths are you going to when David's not working? Where is he hitting in the convention scene?
Oh God, depends who's out, who's there. But I mean, I like to hit up a lot of the toy booths and stuff like that too. A lot of the t-shirts. It depends what's there. I mean, I'm a big geek, so like you have any, especially Comic-Cons, it's basically everything I love anyway. So I'll be like, I'll
take one of everything, thank you.
Yeah. It's a good thing I have a very small apartment right now, because I'm like, that's what keeps me from buying stuff at conventions, because I'm like, I would love to have this, but I have nowhere to put this right now. So maybe one day when I have my art mansion or something like that, then I can go hog wild at a convention and be like, I am buying everything. Yes, I am buying that lightsaber. Yes, I'm buying that Joker statue. Yes, I'm buying this costume. Yes, I'm
do it all.
I have a massive Batman that's right over here. It's huge.
That's awesome.
It's like this big. It weighs a ton. And it was a, what are we going to put in our bedroom? And I was like, the Batman's not going in the bedroom.
It's fantastic. I love it.
How is it, Jess? Because you're not allowed to touch them. Are you allowed to show us?
Not anymore. I'm not allowed to touch the Batmans anymore.
Oh, that's
I broke
okay.
one.
It's okay.
I broke one. It was a very exclusive piece, and I
knocked
it off.
Oh no.
We were getting ready for an interview, and we were like, we always meet up first, and she just, I was like,
it's like, rip.
I was in trouble. Okay, so we're gonna do this last question. So that you've been to so many conventions, have you ever run into somebody that you completely fanboyed over and just had that moment of, oh my God, they're right there?
Oh yeah. Several times. I would say my top 3 that I have really freaked out on, first off, was Alice Cooper, because my manager also represents him, and so he just they were doing a convention down in Philly 2 years ago, and my manager Bob calls me up. It's like, Dave, so you want to come meet Alice? You and Damien want to come meet Alice? We're like, oh yeah. And so we come, and we thought it was just going to be a typical, oh, hi, nice to meet you. That would be it. And Bob brings us into the green room, and like Anson Mount, from the new Star Trek series, but he was also Black Bolt on Inhumans and stuff like that. He's there sitting around, and Alice is just sitting there chilling out, and he's like, hey guys, how are you doing? He's like, I want you guys come sit down and chat. I've been hearing all about you guys. I love Terrifier, blah blah blah. And we just sat down and chatted for about an hour with him, just shooting the shit about movies and stuff like that. It was like, holy crap, we're sitting here just chilling out with Alice Cooper. It was like such a Wayne's World moment. Like, we're not worthy. Just like, oh my God. But he just treated us like we're old friends. And it was just like, this is, like Anson Mount even comes over, like, can I join you guys? Like, yeah, come over here. So we're all just like, we're all kind of like, I can't believe this is happening. It's fun seeing other celebrities geek out over other celebrities too. So that was like one of those really cool moments. I was just not expecting that at all. My second one was Doug Jones, because he's a big inspiration to me as an actor. And we had chatted with each other because, he was in Bye Bye Man with Jenna as well. And so that's how I kind of segued into first talking with him on Instagram, saying, hey, so we have the privilege of both killing Jenna Cannell on screen. So it's like, oh, yes. It's like, well, whenever I see, I'm like, well, I see we're going to be at a convention together at Mad Monster Party. I was like, I would love to say hi. He's like, oh yes, Huggles will be had. And again, I thought this would just be a typical little nice to meet you type of thing. And he had a huge line of people, and I didn't want to just break in line because I had to get back to my table. So I just kind of stood off to the side and just waved at him. And he just jumps up from his table, screams out my name, comes over and just wraps me in a big hug and just starts like rubbing my head like a, like, oh, how's my little puppy doing? He's like, oh, I think you're so great. And I love what you did with your character. I've watched your material. It's fantastic. It's like, we have to talk later on. So later on, it was the VIP party that night. And Damien's like, Dave, because I was doing an interview. He's like, Dave, get your butt here. Doug's here now, and he's looking for you. And I'm like, oh my God. And so I got there, and Doug and he just pulled me off to the side, and we ended up just sitting down and talking for an hour, just getting to know each other personally. And it was just he's just such a wonderful human being. And it's because like I said, he's been someone I've learned from my whole entire life. He's been a big impact on me. So that was really cool to just have that moment with him. And I was like, this is really cool. My ultimate one though was just like, where I almost messed my pants. It was when we were down in Orlando at Spooky Empire, and I was getting my makeup on for my photo op in the green room, and Damien's doing my makeup, and Bob comes in. He's like, hey guys, I got someone here that wants to meet you guys. And this is someone we wanted to meet at the convention, but we were so afraid of going up and talking to him because he's a freaking legend. So we're like, oh, I flat out told Bob from the get, was like, I would love to meet this guy, but I don't know if we'll be able to make that happen because he's who he is, and he'll probably have a line at all times. But who knows? So we're sitting there, and he's like, so this guy wants to meet you. And I have my eyes closed because Damien's doing my eye makeup, and I just hear this, oh, wow. And my eye just, boom. And I hear this noise come out of Damien that I've never heard before. He just makes this oh sound. It's Christopher Lloyd.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, and he's just got the biggest smile on his face. He's like, oh, this is fantastic. And I'm just like, hi, oh my gosh, hi. And because
how did you not mess yourself?
I know, because this is like my childhood.
Mm.
He's played so many characters that I have loved through both TV and cinema my whole entire life, especially in my childhood. So many, like Doc Brown, Judge Doom, Reverend Jim, Switchblade Slam, on and on, and Uncle Fester. It was just like, just to know that I brought a smile to his face just made my day and my year even. I was just like, this is, wow. And we just sat and chatted for a while as well, because we had a common friend, and like my old mentor, Stephen Caro, who was, I toured with the Grinch. I was his understudy for 5 years, and Christopher Lloyd almost did Grinch out there in LA at the Fantasias, and Stefan was his understudy for that, and it was just too physically demanding for Christopher to do, so Stefan ended up playing him in the show. But they got to know each other then, and unfortunately Stefan passed away back in 2018 from cancer, and so we sat there and reminisced about Stefan and telling Stefan stories back and forth. So it was a really cool moment, because he's such a legend. It's just like, wow, it's Christopher Lloyd, and you can't beat that. You just can't beat that. That's like me meeting Robin Williams. It's just like, oh my God.
Did you give him crap about killing the shoe?
Oh no. I was just, but I did tell him, Roger Rabbit is my favorite film, and blah 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 blah. It's like, and I pretty much met most of the major actors from Roger Rabbit now. Kathleen Turner and Charles Fleischer as well. So it's just like it's I love it. I love it. That's why I love doing these conventions too, because it gives me a better opportunity to meet these actors that I have always looked up to and learned from my whole entire life, and get to meet them as people, as human beings. So it humanizes them in ways, and like, oh wow, it's really cool. I love it.
Yeah, so one thing, the biggest thing I think I miss about conventions is that person-to-person connection you get to make, not only with actors and like anyone that's at the show, the artists, but the other people, like the fans and the other cosplayers, like making it your own little thing, your own little group that, you know, we like the same things.
It's so true.
Vibe.
Because I go to a lot of the after parties, and so I get to meet all these the fans that come to these, and I've made so many friends this way. That I have my own con family that go to so many conventions, and I see them in so many conventions. So it's just it's kind of like a family reunion every time I see them.
Yeah,
and it's also like that with a lot of the celebrities at these conventions. We do a lot of the same ones, so we see each other all the time. So we've now become friends that way, and it's a very surreal thing for me. Like, oh yeah, that's Bill Moseley. And it's just like, it's just Bill. It's just Felissa. It's just like, this is, it's wild. It's like my inner kid's going, ha! He's like, you know Kane Hodder, you know Jason Voorhees, you know, it's like yeah, it's just Kane now. It's just like, he's put me in headlocks. He's strong. He is so strong.
You're so lucky. I'd let him put you in a headlock.
Oh, he puts you in a headlock. He doesn't, you know, do what I did in Terrifier 1. He puts you in a real headlock. It's like he did that to me at one convention where I'm just talking to somebody, and all of a sudden I'm just like, and I'm like, hi, Kane. He's like, how did you know it's me? I'm like, who else would do this? Can you please let me go now? He's like, okay.
Like, yes, what can I say?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen his documentary?
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's a fantastic documentary. It's like, and I spoke to him after I saw it. I'm like, you know, it's like, dude, this is amazing. You have an amazing story.
Yeah. Yeah.
It made me appreciate him so much more as a person.
Same. After I watched it, I was like, I had no freaking idea.
I had no idea either. Had no idea, because I was so used to Kane at conventions and everything, and just like seeing this other side of him, like, wow, yeah. I like this. This is really cool.
Yeah,
he's come a long way.
Yeah, he really has.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully someday soon, we can all get back to it.
We will.
Back to the convention circuit.
I look very much forward to that day. I am like waiting. I'm like, come on, give me my vaccine. I want to get back out there, because I'm probably going to be one of the last groups here in New York that's able to get one. So I'm like, well, you know, I understand that, but at the same time, I was like, I want my vaccine. Just go ahead. And I know all these people that don't want vaccines. Give me yours then.
Yeah.
Agreed. Same here.
We'll kick your ass for like 24 hours. It just told me when I had the first dose. So I've got a second one at some point. So
yeah, but you know, that means it's doing its thing. So it's like, I've already told myself, he's like, as soon as I get it, I know that it's going to kick my ass. So I'm just going to basically just do nothing for the next day and plan that. Like, I'm going to feel like shit the next day. So I'm just going to take a bunch of, you know, headache medicine and just
sleep if you can.
Yeah.
Bless you.
Well, I think that is it for my questions. And I think we got through the whole list.
Wow.
We're all done.
We did it.
We did it, guys.
Does anybody in the chat want to ask anything before we wrap up? I'll give him a minute.
Sure, no problem. I am a Sagittarius. I enjoy long walks on the beach.
We weren't going down a dating route, but if you want to put yourself out there.
What's your favorite mime trick? Oh boy. It's a thing I always like doing. I wouldn't say necessarily it's a mime trick, but I always like doing the going behind, like being behind a couch and look like you're going down a flight of stairs or an escalator or an elevator. I like doing that. It's fun to do. It always brings a smile to people's faces.
Yeah.
Agreed. It is.
Let me unmute Rich so we can ask you his question, because he's been so patient all night. Bless him. Hey, Rich.
Poor Rich. Hey, Rich.
Hello. I'm just wondering what the budget was for both films. I know you.
Oh yeah. That's a good question. The budget for part 1, you're not going to believe this, was $50,000 basically.
Well,
Not $500,000. $50,000.
You didn't have to pay many actors because you killed them all. So
yeah, yeah. We had a bare bones crew, and basically our locations were real locations that we had connections with, so we were able to use those, and we didn't have to do a lot of set dressing and stuff like that. Damien did all the practical effects, so we didn't have to hire people for that. So that saved a lot of money that way. And I really didn't take home a big payday from that. But anyway, it worked out in the end. And that's how I looked at it from the get-go. It's like, this could lead to something, so it'll pay off in the end, and I think it has. Yeah. Now, for part 2, I would say we're not a million, but I would say the budget's probably about between 500,000 to 750,000.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
So more killing.
Yeah.
More gore.
But as you can see from the first one, we can do a lot with a small budget.
Yeah.
Like we make use of the money we have. We just don't. We're not frivolous with it.
Some of the best horrors have been made with low budgets.
Yeah. It makes you work harder and become more creative with what you have, and I think sometimes that's a boom in some ways, where it's like,
I always look at like George Romero for his films, like when he started off, Dawn of the Dead made for less than $1 million.
Yeah.
And then you look at his later films where they threw money at him. Yeah. And they weren't as good. They never were as good.
I think you become too comfortable when you have that kind of money. It's like, oh, okay, well, just like when you have bare bones, budget, you really have to sit there and like, okay, how can we make this work?
Yeah.
Yeah. And we've had those moments even on part 2 where Damien had built a prosthetic and all of a sudden it breaks. Or we had breakaway glass for something and it breaks when they're putting it in, and we don't have another one. We're like, okay, what are we going to do now? And we have to totally change the scene on the fly. But I think sometimes it's added, like one scene, especially that's in part 2, I think it actually changed for the better, because it made us do something creative with it that you've never seen before. And I was like, well, okay, how are we going to get around this problem? And it's like one of those, like, what would MacGyver do moments where it's like, okay, how are we going to fix this? And okay, we'll do this instead. Cool. Boom. And it works out better.
That's cool.
Yeah. Kirsten made a comment there. You have to work harder and it shows.
Yeah. I wish I could tell you about this scene. I can't wait to tell you about this scene though, because it's like, it was not written in the script at all. And we sat there after this moment happened. We're like, okay, what are we going to do now? Because we only have X amount of time to film this. So what are we going to do? And we came up with this whole other rendition of the scene. And I think it's hysterical. Yeah.
Oh, I really can't wait. Yeah, can't wait.
Is there going to be another trailer coming out soon as well?
I don't know. That is a good question, because that's the thing. It's like I think the teaser trailer that we put out last year is such a good trailer. It doesn't spoil anything in the movie, but it shows you, it gets you pumped for it. So I'm like, if Damien can do something like that again, that would be cool. But I don't know.
See, I always see and another question is, in the first one, he was more like sick that I am, it was like he was a kid playing with toys and he didn't know he was doing anything wrong. In the scene where he gets stabbed in the foot and he gives him the finger, that was like, how dare you do that to me?
That was totally improvised too. The middle finger. They had already said cut, and I was just joking around with Samantha when she was coming back for us to do the scene again. And they just got it on film with me going to her.
Yeah, it's him saying, well, "Hang on, why are you doing this? What? Doing this? I'm just."
I had to think of something too, like when before she stabs me in the foot, like when she rips through the plastic. I was like, okay, she's got to hunt for the spike. So what am I going to do in the meantime? That's why I kind of look at him like, what the hell happened? It was just one of those things. It was just, how am I going to fill this empty time here with, it's like, why I would automatically usually just go and attack her as soon as she goes through it. So it was those are the things I love that happen in the moment where it's like, okay, well, what can we do here? It's fun to play around that way.
Do you, just final one for me is a lot of people I've shown this to get as far as the shish kebab bit, and that's when they turn off. Are your family, friends, have they watched the whole thing, or have they got just as far as that and gone, hey, you're not invited anymore?
I have friends that have they're like, I love you, but I can't watch this. And then I have my sister who is mentally and physically handicapped, and at the time she was living in a group home in Alabama, a very, very religious group home too. And she's like, so we're gonna watch Terrifier tonight. I'm like, oh, you are? I'm like, I'm just telling you, Vonda, like, it's very bloody, very violent. I don't know how. I was like, I'm okay with you watching, but I don't know how the rest of your the people living in your group home, because I know how it might affect people like my sister in that way, where they might not be able to differentiate between fact and fiction. And I didn't want to scare some of those people like that in it. But they watched it and they loved it. They were freaked out by it, but they loved it. I was like, they looked at, because I was just Vonda's little baby brother, so that I think that's what kind of put a lot of them at ease. They're like, oh, it's just David.
Yeah,
it's David underneath
what went
that.
Wrong? What happened?
He's not really like that. Yeah, but it was.
How is he ever going to get a date doing stuff like that? I think people have been not desensitized, but horror is generally weaker these days than it was back in the 80s. And then Terrifier comes along, and it's like, people go see a Jurassic Park film where the dinosaurs only eat the adults.
I have to say,
the babies in a ball pit and the T-Rex never bobs for them.
No.
It's really weird.
When Terrifier came out on Netflix, about a month later was my 20th high school reunion. So and I was the nerd back in high school and stuff like that. I got bullied back in middle school in my freshman year and stuff like that. So I was never the cool kid. So it was fun going back to that reunion right after Terrifier comes out, and just people were like, oh my God, you're him. It's like, you or him? I'm like, yeah. It's like, oh, we shouldn't have treated you like that in high school. Like, no, you shouldn't have.
It was like an Addams Family sort of a Gomez situation. Isn't he a lady killer?
Oh yeah. It was basically, this reunion was like every geek's dream come true. It was just like, it's so satisfying to come back and just be like, hi. Because the funny thing I noticed at this reunion was all the kids that were the cool kids, the cheerleaders, the football players and all that, they all had just stayed there in Huntsville, Alabama, got married, had kids, doing 9-to-5 job every single day. All of us that were like the theater geeks, the band geeks, the choir geeks, just the geeks in general, all of us had left Huntsville and done big, crazy things with our lives. And we came back to this reunion and we're like, you know what? We're actually the cool kids now. We've gone out there and done awesome things. And it was a very satisfying thing to come back and realize that, like, wow, they peaked in high school. We're peaking now. Well, maybe we haven't even peaked yet. It's just like, we're living life, and this is kind of cool. It's like, yeah. And I think it's some of that stuff that we went through back in the day gave us that drive to, like, you know what? I want to do something cool. I want to do something memorable.
Well, going back to high school with a body count has got to be pretty cool.
Oh yeah. The bullies don't look at you the same way.
No, exactly. They don't know if you're going to pull out a gun and kill my favorite person in that film. Thank you very much.
Oh yeah. It was funny. The people that would give me that wouldn't even give me the time of day or off. So I'm like, oh my God, I just saw your movie, man. Oh my God. I'm like,
a funny story actually. I was giving Rich shit a couple of days ago, and I was like, "You killed off my favorite character." And I went, "Yeah, okay, you got a point." David kills them all off.
Such a bastard.
Yeah, there's the actress who plays, what was her name again? Who plays the one you shoot? I forgot.
Jenna Cannell, who plays Tara. Yes.
I saw an interview where she's saying without the gun she'd have kicked your ass.
Oh, she would have. That's why he pulled out the. Yeah.
I think she was meaning in real life as well. She was
probably that too. Yeah, because she's also trained in martial arts and stuff like that, and she does stunt work. I mean, I wouldn't doubt it, because also I have a problem with actually physically hitting women as well. So I was just like, yeah, you would kick my ass because I wouldn't be fighting back. I have a problem with that.
A lot of Terrifier versus women who do martial arts. Is this heading towards a Jackie Chan Terrifier crossover?
That would be amazing. Oh my god. No, that's just how Damien's cast these women. They're just kick-ass women in real life. So it's just like I love it. He's got a great eye for talent in that regard.
You need to get some cameos in it. Get Alice Cooper in the next one.
Oh, we would love that.
Wasn't Alice Cooper in one of the Nightmare?
Yes. Freddy's Dead, was it?
Was it that one?
I think abusive dad.
Yeah.
He could be Terrifier's father from the circus.
Oh, it's Daddy.
That would be quite fun.
Dear old Daddy.
Oh my god.
That's me. That's me. Thank you very much.
He's my sperm donor.
Thanks for your questions, Rich. Have we got any more? Are we good?
Nope, that was everything.
Thank you so much, David.
You're welcome. I've had fun chatting with you guys. This has been awesome.
This has been an absolute pleasure, sir. Thank you very much for this. Yeah.
Thank you. And I hope to see so many of you guys at conventions and everything too.
Undoubtedly,
I have a new con buddy, a new convention.
Yes.
Hooray.
We'll have to hang out and everything, especially when we don't have to worry about COVID.
If you ever come to Australia, right here.
Yes.
Yep, your hosts were all over the planet.
Oh, I love it though. That makes it even better. So I'll see you at different ones. You might just have to remind me, because I meet so many people now. I'm like, I suck sometimes. I'm like, well, I know you from somewhere. I know your face. Where? Then I'm like, oh, well, yeah, it's okay. We have fun, because there's also one thing to interact with people over like a computer than actually see them face to face in real life and stuff like that. So it's like,
I'm not gonna look like this.
Oh yeah. I wouldn't expect you to either. That's what I love too. It's like I love cosplay. That's the thing I always freak out over every convention. I always have to watch the cosplay contest if I can, and anytime cosplay is just going around floor, I'm like, oh, I love your costume. Oh, I love it. Oh.
I'll up my game for the next convention that you're at, and I'll try to surprise you with whatever put on.
Awesome. That's so cool.
Good.
I'm excited. Just get me out there to Comic-Con.
Hopefully you'll try and come to like some of the UK horror conventions.
We really want to do that. I couldn't do For the Love of Horror this year because let's try that again. I had already obligated. Oh yeah, that's all, folks. So I had already obligated myself to one in Germany. That's the same weekend. I'm like, man, that's how it always goes. But I think we hope to do it next year.
Fingers crossed. I'll go to that one if you go.
Oh, I'd love to. I'm dying to come to the UK. Dying to. I've just to come to the UK. Period. I just want to.
I'll take you for a drink after if you're free.
Yes, that's what it's like. So much of my family history is out there. We've traced our heritage all the way back to like King Alfred. So Alfred the Great and all of them. So we go way back. Yeah. So I would love to go to the fatherland.
Wow. Do you think you could do a Scottish accent?
Oh, do you think I can do a Scottish accent? Yeah. I'm actually a descendant of Andrew Murray and Duncan and Malcolm and all of them. So yeah. So yeah, I can do it if you want me to do it.
And they're West
problem
Coast
really.
guys.
Oh yeah, it depends what you're doing too, because you get that further north, you got people you don't understand what the fuck they're saying the whole day. Hey, you want to go?
Yeah. As a Scottish person going to Glasgow, I'm like, the fuck did you say?
Oh yeah, it's like what the I need subtitles. Will you just give me some subtitles or something, because you're hard to understand here.
You killed Erin. She's dead. She doesn't even need to be art. She's dead.
Yeah, Erin needs oxygen right now. Yes. Yeah.
Well, I did the 39 steps twice, and that's a play where I played over 30 characters both times, and it's set in the UK in both England and Scotland during World War II. So I had to perfect a lot of my dialects for all these characters. So it was fun. Like there was one day at work where I went into my regular waiting job back in the day, and it was when I was really trying to get the Scottish accent down, because I had to be able to turn these accents on and off at the drop of a hat, literally, because I would wear different hats and switch them out and have arguments with myself. So I went to work that day just fully doing Scottish accent all day. Just, how are you doing? What can I get you for lunch today? And the people are like, what's wrong? Oh, I'm doing a play, so I have to get you talking like this for a while so I can get into this accent. It's not that hard for me to do, Like, okay. Oh, don't worry, I'll be myself tomorrow. I plan to be back to my regular self. Tomorrow, you'll hear me normal.
Any Aussie accents?
Yeah. Oh,
that was fun. I love doing accents, especially the UK accents, because they're that's what amazes me about England, especially. There's so many British accents.
Yeah.
You just drive a few miles and they sound totally different.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
When you did your Scottish accent, you sound like my posh auntie.
Oh yeah. It's almost a Miss Doubtfire. Oh, Miss, you have to listen to me, dearie. You got the quick success of waiting here. Oh, you got yourself a little cappuccino. Oh, that's nice.
I want to make you do my voicemail for my phone.
Oh, look at you, dearie. Oh, look. I'm a hip-hop granny who could hip-hop, beep-up, and make a mean cup of hot cuckoo.
And actually, Mrs. Doubtfire had just been asked for in chat. I didn't even get a chance to relay that to you yet. Yeah.
Oh, hello.
But actually, I think what Erin was asking for before is, can you do an Australian accent?
An Australian, yeah. That's basically, you take the Cockney accent and you widen it a little bit more in your mouth. So yeah, I used to have a girlfriend that Maggie, who was from Australia, but she lived in London, so she had an interesting hybridization of those accents.
Wow.
And I was terrified to do that accent around her because she was always very judgmental. Like, yeah, that's not totally Australian. You're more doing the Americanized version of Australian. I'm like, no, I'm not. You just, you should hear yourself when you talk. I'm just imitating you.
Is she an ex-girlfriend?
That bit there.
Yeah. It was an amicable breakup. It was just like we realized we wanted different things long run. So I hope she's doing well.
Actually do the accent.
Yeah.
I'm only kidding. I'm sorry.
You kid because you care. Yeah, that's how I always think of some kind of basis for an act, like where did this accent from? That's what's so easy about Australian. It's like, well, it came from the British colony, with the prisoners, and of course a lot of them were lower class, unfortunately, and a lot of them had the Cockney accent. That's where that came from. Yeah,
your accents are amazing.
Why, thank you. I have fun doing them.
This has been so much fun.
Yeah,
I tried.
and you succeed easily. Yes.
Thank you.
Yep.
It's always unnerving doing someone's accent in front of them, though. I'm just like, it's like when I did 39 Steps, because I played a German character in that, and my hometown of Huntsville, Alabama, is where NASA first started. So it's it's where all the German scientists came over, Von Braun, with all Operation Paperclip, and my grandfather worked with Von Braun, and I grew up around all those German scientists as a kid. And so I was around that accent all the time, so it came to me naturally. And I was doing 39 Steps, and one night we had a talk back with the audience, and this older gentleman's out in the audience like, I have a question for you. I was just wondering, where did you learn how to do your German accent? I'm like, oh God. And I told him, he's like, that makes perfect sense. That's why you do it so well. Okay, very well done. I'm like, oh, thank God.
You were terrified, weren't you?
Yeah, because I exaggerated a little bit for the show, of course, because it's heightened, realism of comedy. But yeah, he's like, "Oh, you do it very well." I'm like, "Oh, thank you." I don't want to piss off a German. I know from experience. Like,
Richard's put as well. How do you reckon Art would sound if he talks? Oh, yeah.
That's what I think would be hilarious if he had more of a posh British accent, because it's like, oh yes, in fact, say what we're going to do here today was actually going to cut you in half. I just have you hanging up here upside down right now, darling. But we're just going to cut you in half. It's going to split you right down the middle. It's going to be absolutely fun. You're going to have so much fun doing this. Yes. I think that'll just be because you were not expecting that.
Yes.
Well, that was so
really, this is all that's going to happen. Why are you cops in here right now? I'm just trying to have a snack. That's all I'm trying to do at the moment. You come in here waving your guns around in the air, and I'm just having a snack. Can't a fellow eat? I just want to. I'm a little bit peckish right now. For God's sake.
I feel like you need to watch Terrified and have like a Mystery Science Theater moment where you sit in front and commentary in a British accent.
Just doing his like what's going on. That would be fun to do.
Oh, that would be great fun.
Yeah,
that would be fun.
Probably you sound like Prince Charles while doing that.
Yeah. Oh yes. The Queen Mum over here.
Yes, director's commentary version. Yeah.
Oh,
I want to be king one day, Mum. Will you just hurry up and pass away already? I've been waiting for 70 years and you're still here.
Isn't she though? Bless her. You don't want to go because of him.
Yeah, probably. It's like, oh, son, I have a feeling you're just going to be an absolute horrible king one day. I have to stay here so you don't ruin everything I've been doing all these years.
Love it. Maybe you could get a new job on like The Crown or something. Next season.
Oh, that would be fun. I've just always loved imitating the Queen. I'm just like, oh yes, of course. Oh, it's like my mom said, like when she was a kid, like she and her sisters would pretend like make fun of the Queen. Like, what would she sound like if she farted? Oh, poop, poop, poop. Oh, excuse me.
One does not fart.
Oh, poop, poop, poop. Oh dear. Oh, the guy.
I'm done.
I'm really sorry.
You broke me. I'm done. Well played.
This is the stuff I do on set all the time. I like to just play.
Well, thank you for playing with us.
Oh, you're welcome. That almost sounded wrong.
Yeah. I know what I said and I meant it.
Yeah.
She did. She's a very bad wife.
And actually, for us, it's easily one of our cleaner jokes, no question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
I meant what I said and mean what I meant.
Yeah. Yeah. If you ever want to come hang out with David, you're always welcome.
Oh, I'd love to. Love to.
So what we'll definitely do is once we actually know the official release date of Terrifier 2, we'll try and schedule the following Saturday for you to come out and join us again.
Oh, of course. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Because then I can just talk.
Exactly. Yep.
I got so much to talk about.
Yeah, that and or if we actually find out that Terrifier 3 is getting like a kickoff for a Kickstarter or whatever, we'll have you here. We'll announce it. Or if it's announced, we'll just start talking about that too. Hell yeah.
I'd be happy to. Absolutely happy to. Thank you so much.
Anything else you have going on in the works? We want to know about it. Yeah.
Yeah, we want to know.
Yeah.
Just right now, I got Stream that I'm filming. Got Dark Offerings coming out this year, hopefully as well. And Terrifier. Yeah, it looks like I might have 3 possible films coming out this year, so that's pretty cool.
If you want to do anything for the other stuff as well, like I said, we'll definitely have you back again. You're such a good laugh. I've got sore face.
I love hearing that.
Yeah. This has been an absolute pleasure, sir. Thank you again very much. Really appreciate it,
guys.
Yeah.
This is a blast.
Well,
I have a rumbly in my tumbly, so I should probably get some food. I'm a bit peckish right now.
Yes.
Thank
you
you
very much again.
Oh,
Yep.
you're welcome.
You.
Y'all take care, stay safe, and have a great night, all right?
You as well.
You
Thank you
too.
again.
All right, thank you. Take
Bye-bye.
care.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Now it's the awkward part of trying to get out of this thing. You're like,
It happens to everybody every time. We get
God.
it. No worries.
It's like, how do I do this? I don't know. Okay.
There's always a leave button, bottom right normally.
Oh, I see it. Yeah, there it is. It's just like a weird place. Okay. Bye.
Bye. Take 2.
Oh my god.
Oh, that was
Okay.
so fun.
Everyone go pee. Go,
Yeah, I'll be right
go,
back.
go. Go
I
pee.
have to go because I have to go to my mother-in-law's for her birthday lunch. So I say mwah to you all.
Yeah.
All right. Bye,
Oh.
sweetie.
I gotta head out as well.
Bye.
I gotta head out too. Okay.
Bye, guys.
Bye.